Pollard's a little iffy. DJ Moore's a little iffy.
Pollard gets to play against Detroit. He gets enough opportunities that he's a home run hitter, man. He's really good.
I think there might be a better tight end cheap than Cotton.
Not that cheap. I really like Hayden Hurst this week.
I got one for you.
Oh boy, what is it?
Do you want it now, or should we
Is it Jeff Swain?
No.
Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can guess it.
So I've got one for.
So is
like
it? It's under 2,700.
Yes, I've got one for 2,800 and one for
2,500 is the stone minimum, right?
Yes.
For 20.
Yeah, I've got one in one. Oh, I've got one in my cash lineup for 25, and one in my tournament lineup for 28. So I am definitely saving money on the tight ends this week.
I like. So I'll tell you who I really like is the Dallas rookie, Ferguson. I like Jake Ferguson. I've been trying to get him in Dynasty.
Ferguson, huh?
Jake Ferguson, I think is his name.
Sorry.
Did you say turd?
Yeah.
Did you say? I
What's that from? I don't even remember.
I don't know.
Turd Ferguson.
That's before my time, I think.
Anyway,
but he's got moves.
Listeners, let me know.
He's got some moves. He seems athletic. So Dalton Schultz has been hurt a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Dak likes to go to his tight end. The Cowboys are really good at getting their second and third tight ends looks in the red zone.
And it isn't Schultz. Schultz's like game time decision, right?
Even if he plays, he's not 100%.
Right. Okay.
And they like the other guys. They like both of them. They like Hendershot too.
Are you getting a little bit of an echo on Ken?
Am I echoing?
If I am, it's probably because one of the other microphones are picking him up.
Echo.
Okay.
That's what would
All
be
right.
happening.
No, that one wasn't bad. Okay. There was like one that was like echoing.
You gonna start Dan Arnold?
No.
Well, since we are paused here,
Freiermuth is back, right?
Yeah. The Muth is Luth.
The Muth is loose.
okay, so now we are live. You guys, welcome everybody to week 7.
What's up, everybody?
Episode 7 of our fantasy football theories.
Oh, the 2,800 one. I know who that is.
I'm producer
That one's easy.
Ray, and joining me today, Brian.
And I'm Ken Bailey.
There you go. There it is.
Hello, everybody.
What's up, everybody?
We're getting our
Welcome to week 7. I hope everybody is fired up and in playoff contention, coming off big wins, right? Everybody. No?
Playoff contention, yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I'm too
Not a
poor,
big-
but
I hope you all picked up Deion Jackson and
You had a big
started
win.
Deion Jackson just like I did last weekend, and they're feeling just as good as I am.
Yeah, and that's what it took for you to win. Good job.
It did, and sometimes that's what it takes, though.
Oh, absolutely. And like I say, he was a decent pickup, but I saw him as a lower end option this week. I didn't think he
We
was gonna
talked
be
about
great,
this.
but,
He doubled what I hoped he would
Yeah.
score for the week.
which happens. It was
And
amazing.
it does. So yeah, that was really good. We're gonna lead off with you should lead off the Homer minute this week for sure.
All right. So as predicted, we tore up Tom Brady and the Bucks.
As everybody predicted,
It was awesome.
Tom had no chance going to Pittsburgh this weekend.
And obviously completely unexpected. Like the defense was so tore up. Both of our stars were gone. Our secondary was decimated.
You lost your quarterback.
We lost.
Yeah, Pickett went down in the game.
Pickett went down. Trubisky went in, which elicited a groan from an entire Steeler nation. Like, oh God.
And you know
Come
what?
on,
You know
Mitch.
what? You know what was awesome though, is that I felt like he played more aggressive.
Yeah. No, I
Like,
agree.
fuck it, they're gonna bench me anyway.
Absolutely, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, why didn't you do that in week 1?
Well,
dude?
because
Like,
he was trying not to lose his
So
job.
what?
And now he's
but they're
just trying
But
to,
there's
yeah.
there's a rookie behind you. Yep. There's a bunch of people who are pushing this guy. So just wing it, man. Go out there and let it rip. Like, why didn't he do that in week 1?
And that's what he did this time.
Where
Yeah.
might you guys be if he just like let it go?
Yeah.
Like, just throw the ball to Pickens.
We'd have 2 more
You know?
wins, and he'd be our quarterback right now.
He'd still be your quarterback.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't
If he
want to go
played,
to
yeah, because
to
if
Pickett
he
this
played
early.
like he did against Tampa Bay, then he would still be the starting quarterback.
I completely agree. I was shocked and pleasantly surprised. Absolutely loved it. And tell you what, man, it gives me hope for this week. We still have a lot of injuries going on, but you know, now that we've actually had that game where we kind of put things together a little bit, and it was when we had our back to the wall and when we had everybody out, it gives you a little.
You know
hope.
what I thought the smartest thing that they did was give Chase Claypool the ball.
So we can get better trade value for him.
I know that you're still just scorned over Antonio Brown. I think you're just out on diva wide receivers for probably the next 5 to 7 years.
Honestly, I don't have and that might be true, but I don't have a problem with Claypool so much. Just he's one of those guys that we expected so much. You know, we expected this big leap.
He's a
big
kid. He's a kid. Just he's 23 years old. Give him some time.
Yeah. Well, and even the first week when we're giving him the ball, these end arounds and everything else, he just wasn't producing, and so.
He made mental mistakes. I think that was the thing.
Yep.
He made mental mistakes and he didn't handle it very well publicly. And then getting into it with your coach is
and that's right. And at the end of this game, because Claypool had some key catches in this one,
he scored a touchdown to go ahead.
Right. And at the end, they were interviewing him, and they were talking about the touchdown. Did you see this?
I did not.
Oh, they're talking about the touchdown, and oh, tell us about the touchdown. That was so great. And the first thing he started is, well, I wasn't quite where I was supposed to be, but and I was just like, oh my god,
but that's good.
Well, good, but
he, instead of him saying, "Oh yeah, man, they had no shot," or "Oh yeah, they should have been throwing. I was open all day. I don't know why he finally threw me the ball
Right.
then." Instead, he was like, "You know what?
at
I could
least
have been
there's
better.
some humbleness.
Yeah, I could have been better. Like that's such an thank you for telling me that. I'm so
Right.
glad I picked him up in Dynasty. Like,
I wouldn't
actually,
mind- yeah,
no, I'm still
Dynasty's a
chasing him in
place
Dynasty.
I'd
I
like
picked
to
him up in another place, but he looks awesome. Like he just when he has the ball in his hands, he looks awesome. And
He definitely has his moments.
maybe they asked him to do more than he was ready to do last year, but
And that's why I don't know if that's mentally. I don't know if that's physically. I don't know if that's a combination of the two.
but that kind of a comment right there that tells me that he's like in the right space mentally. I'm
right,
like, and-
or at least getting better.
yeah. So and he's dangerous, man. He's so good.
He's
so
got
good.
that athleticism.
Yeah.
That's for sure. All right,
So,
go
yeah,
ahead, man.
That
What
was
do you
cool.
think?
So huge win for the Cowboys last week. No, you know what? The only moment I really want to talk about from last week was there's I think it was the second scoring drive that Philadelphia had. They ran this play twice. They ran it to the right side one time, or they ran it to the right side or top side of the screen for the touchdown, but they also ran it to the bottom side of the screen earlier in the drive. And what they did was, and they were doing it all night, is they were isolating Micah Parsons. They weren't blocking him. They were just they were making him make it. They were just like keying off him, like he'd go one way and they'd go the other. And the play was they lined up AJ Brown in the backfield, and then they bring him out into the formation, and then they brought him back across the formation.
Okay.
And as they bring him back across the formation, he becomes Micah's responsibility, and both times he just completely beat Micah Parsons for one time a big gain on third down, and the other time for a touchdown. And the second time I saw it, I was just yelling at the screen, "It's coming again! It's coming again!
Right.
Hit that!
Right?
Hit him!" I was so mad.
It's funny how you can see that.
But they and obviously he didn't, and AJ Brown scores a touchdown. But I was really impressed with how they turned it around, and how they, like, the Eagles have done that to everybody this year, where they just by whatever happenstance, like, and football is weird that way, where they just score points in bunches, and they've been doing it in the second quarter this year. Like, they put up some graphic. They've got a record for most points in the second quarter through 6 games so far, and they scored 20 of their 26 points in the second quarter. And so for the Cowboys to be able to come back to put a stop to their offense and then come back in the game with their backup quarterback, I was like, okay, this is.
And I think that's exactly right. With
You
the
lose the
backup
turn-
quarterback,
yeah,
you
you
know
lose-
what I mean.
you
And
lose-
I thought they looked good.
You lose the turnover battle,
Right.
like that, to a good team, and that's what's going to happen to you. You're going to lose the game.
You guys looked competitive, looked good against one of the best teams in the NFL, and you did it with your backup.
They count.
So I mean,
it was fun time for me as a Cowboys fan. After a big loss, I'm used to people like the media, all the talking heads and stuff like that, laughing, at the Cowboys and piling on in different ways.
I'm one of those.
And this was, and this didn't happen.
No, I
didn't
agree.
happen this week. Everybody's
because they looked good
because
in
they
their
look
loss.
because they look tough. They look tough. They look mentally tough. That's the thing I think that people have been able to pick on for at the Cowboys for the last 15, 20 years.
Yep.
Is that they're a team that just doesn't always look mentally tough, and they do now.
It's that defense, brother.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my
it's
God, that
it's
defense is
7-11.
good, man.
It's 7-11 really. It's Diggs and Micah Parsons, and you saw Diggs at the end of the game. He got that unsportsmanlike penalty after they scored the touchdown because he was just so mad. Like he was so mad that they scored the touchdown. And I love that.
And you're like, cool.
I love
Be
that.
mad.
Yes,
Be mad.
Wait, you're gonna get him again. You'll see him again.
Exactly. Yeah. Once, if not twice.
And that's the thing is the second time they see them, I don't think Philadelphia is going to have a whole lot of tricks up their sleeve. And that one play that they ran twice on that one drive, it wasn't successful again the rest of the way. So they'll have to come up with something new. And that was they obviously did catch the Cowboys strategically there by what they did with Micah Parsons, okay, we're just not going to try and block him. We're not going to send two guys at him. We're going to send no guys at him. Yeah. And that worked for a little while. So,
But yeah.
So I can't wait for round two. Round two is going to be awesome.
I would be excited if I were you. Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the
Right.
Rams house.
What's going on, everybody? I felt like the Rams game was supposed to be like a get right game, and they still just won. There was nothing really impressive about it.
And we talked about that too. It was
Yeah.
it was really hard to pick the Rams to win by 10, because they just.
I think they did still win by
They
10.
did, but did they? Was it like exactly by 10?
It might have been.
Because I know
Yeah.
I know the Panthers did score a defensive touchdown, and when I saw that highlight, because I wasn't watching the game itself, and I saw that highlight, I was like, oh my God, come on, Rams, you've got to be kidding me!
Let me take a look.
But yeah, Allen Robinson scored again, right?
Yeah, and so that helps me with my bet against Brian here. We won by 14.
Okay.
Man, it did not
But
feel
it
like
did
that.
not-
Yeah.
It did not.
10 to 24, and it didn't feel like that
no.
at all.
And it's and a 24-10 game where the team actually didn't score an offensive touchdown. Like the Panthers didn't score offensively. It was an interception return.
Yeah. And there really shouldn't have been an interception. You know what I mean? He should have took advantage of being able to just pick his shots. We got Allen Robinson involved, so at least there was some kind of, hopefully he still
Was he
gives some
more involved, or
little
was he
balance.
just because from what I've seen, they get him involved at the goal line where they throw him a goal line fade.
No, he had I think a third down conversion to catch that he made where it was one of those go fight for it. He didn't break away, and I believe that's why we picked him up, so we can target him more for those go fight for the ball.
Yes, 50-50 balls. They say the 50-50 balls.
And so that's promising. We're going into the bye week, and then we have Frisco after the fact. And Frisco's going up against Kansas City, so hopefully they get a pretty good beat down.
Oh yeah, it's super interesting. The Rams are 3-3, and it could end up in first place after their bye because the teams around them lose. Yeah.
That's great.
And
it's interesting.
That division's really
Up for grabs for sure.
for grabs
San
still.
Francisco made a big move though. We've been talking here for about 15 minutes and we haven't said anything about it.
We've been doing our Homer move or Homer minute. If we're ready, that's a good
one
to
other
get
thing.
into.
Before we move off of that, I was super excited that we put people onto Ben Skowronek and he came through. So anybody who picked up Ben Skowronek last week was really happy.
How'd he do?
He scored a 15.5 points or something like that. 16. He scored a touchdown.
Nice.
So,
That's right. I do remember that. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and I said that I think I said exactly I thought he was somebody who could score in the game.
Yeah, he's becoming our new gadget player.
Yes, he's a poor man's Wes Welker.
Yeah.
Because
We had Wes Welker one
because
time too.
Cooper Kupp is a bigger Wes Welker. He does all the things that Wes Welker can do, but then he does all the things that an Antonio Brown does too. So it's not the same. He's just like a super Wes Welker, whereas Skowronek is like Wes Welker. He's exactly like him.
So if you guys want to talk about the old Christian McCaffrey trade, I think now's a pretty good time to segue into that.
Yeah. So what do you think about what they gave up? Do you think they gave up enough? Do you think they gave up too much?
Now, It was a second, a third, a fourth,
and a fifth next year.
Fifth next year.
The fifth is next year, so it's 3 picks and no first rounders.
So I will start off by saying that is a lot. It is a lot especially for a running back. But man, I think they got a great deal. Like if McCaffrey is healthy 2 out of the next 3 years, I think that is a fantastic deal that could really has some really upside potential. This week, however, I wouldn't want to start McCaffrey this week since he didn't get in until they're like Thursday
You got to be
or
feeling,
whatever.
yeah. Oh,
I can understand the pressure to want to, but man, I would if I had another option, I would look around. But after that, like, what do you think he's going to do the rest of this year? I think he's going to be amazing.
Oh
in
yeah,
that
I think so
offense.
too. I think it's gonna be amazing.
With Garoppolo
I think
dumping
it's
to
just-
him, it's like it was meant to be.
Yes, I think this. So now here's the thing: the 49ers running backs have been frustrating because they don't catch the ball.
Right.
And that is just, and the thing that's super, super frustrating about that is that's what the Kyle Shanahan offense did until he got to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Is like the running backs would catch the ball.
Yep.
Like Matt Ryan made a living throwing the ball to Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman.
When Elijah Moore was in last
was in
year,
San Francisco.
when last year Elijah Moore, he was or not. I'm sorry, not Elijah.
Mitchell.
Elijah Mitchell. Eliza. That's how I remember his name. Anyway. But I mean, he was getting some catches though, Brett, wasn't he?
No,
Towards the end of the year,
he just scored. Like,
it just felt like it.
yeah, no,
Okay.
because.
We got some questions rolling in.
Before I get too far,
great.
before I get too far on that, the one thing I wanted to say is now you, with having adding a guy to the roster that you know his skill set is to catch the ball, and if they want to put the ball in his hand, I think that's what you're going to get. I think you're finally going to get a San Francisco running back that also catches the ball.
Yeah.
So just imagine that, you've had solid San Francisco running backs for 3 or 4 years that give you the 15 to 25 points. Now you have one that could score you 45.
Yeah.
He could legit score you 45 points on a week, and I think he might. I think he's going to have a 40-point game this year.
If not multiple, in that offense,
And
there is so much.
They still get to play. They still get to play Seattle again. They get to play Arizona twice. This is juicy.
We gotta
absolutely.
get to these
Okay,
questions.
All right,
questions.
what do we got?
Yeah.
Questions. All right, so I think both of these users are new to the podcast, and our first question is Garoppolo or Goff this week.
Garoppolo.
Yeah, I actually got more on that later. Then Jimbo Fisher wants to know trade Stevenson, Pittman, and Sutton for Mixon and St. Brown.
Say that again.
Okay.
Trade Stevenson, Pittman, and Sutton for Mixon and St. Brown.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. You're upgrading there. And,
Stevenson is a sell high.
Yep. I agree with that.
Damian Harris is going to be back any minute now. He literally could play this weekend. And once that happens, Stevenson, I think is still going to be a guy that gets you a 12 to 14 points, because he's going to be a better than Kareem Hunt, but
not much. But yeah,
but not much.
He's in that same category
Yes.
as Hunt.
He's-
I agree with that completely. And so he does have value, and Sutton, gosh, you don't know what's going to happen with
he just
Sutton,
doesn't
the way
score enough
things are going this
touchdowns.
year.
Pittman is the one you don't want to give up, but Amon St. Brown is a top 10 receiver.
Right. Pittman and St. Brown, I think I'd rather have St. Brown.
And then Mixon's a top 10
And
running
then
back.
Mixon, I mean, gosh.
And Mixon's the schedule for the Bengals is also they're another team that has a really, really soft schedule the rest of the way.
So another question: play CMC or other options? Jeff Wilson and Mostert.
Mostert, I would play Mostert. Hold on, let me stop.
I think CMC needs one game
is
to
so
right.
good. He's so good, and we talked about this a little bit. Couldn't help it on the way over, but I think that they're gonna give him some amount of work. What I think it's gonna be is receiving. So I think he's still going to be worth the 12-ish points as a baseline. I really can't see him not catching 5 or 6 balls in this game. The thing that I don't think he's going to get is that he's not going to get 15 carries. He might get 5. If that. They might but that's so.
How many receptions?
I think he's going to get at least 5 catches in this game.
5 catches or targets?
Catches.
Catches?
I think he'll get more than 5 targets. I think he'll get somewhere
I like the
8 to
5
10
targets, actually. I like your number there. I think if you're saying 5
So
targets, I would agree
now,
with you.
3 weeks ago, I would agree with that. The San Francisco defense has softened up. The 49ers are going to have to throw the ball more.
True.
last week, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk all had 9+ targets. So he's going to eat into that. Like, I think the person who's going to get hurt the most is Ayuk. But it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna hurt Deebo, because Deebo is just like he's
got two superstars.
He's
on
their
the team now.
playmaker.
When did CMC arrive at San Francisco? How many practices has he got in?
I think he got there Thursday.
The trade happened Thursday night.
So it happened Thursday night. So he got there Friday.
So he did the walkthrough on Friday. And so, like, here's what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to go out there and have passing plays. I think he's on passing downs. He's going to come out and they're going to say, "Hey, Jimmy's going to put you in this position. He's going to tell you who to block, and if you don't have to block, you're going to leak out."
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to be running routes per se. I think he's just going to get opportunities to catch the ball. Right. And I think, and to finish off my point from earlier, is that now that they have a running back that his skill set is to catch the ball, and he has a history of catching the ball, and he's a superstar, I think Jimmy's going to have that in his head. I really want to it's not there. Where's Christian?
Absolutely, yeah.
And so I think he's gonna look for him. I think
gonna make him look good, man.
I think he's gonna make Jimmy look really good. So I find it. So if I would start anybody over Christian McCaffrey that was listed there, it would be Mostert. But I wouldn't feel super confident about it. I would really rather start Christian McCaffrey than Raheem Mostert if that was my choice.
I don't know if I 100% understand this question, so I'll kind of summarize the questions he's been asking. But other options he mentioned was Wilson and Mostert. Then he asked about the running back 1, Mostert and flex, and then asked, I can play both Barkley running back 2.
Oh, he's your running back 2. That's what you're saying. So that's what I think I'm hearing. Yeah, so especially with you having Barkley on the roster, and it's funny, I was saying that earlier this year, it's crazy how many rosters I have with Barkley and McCaffrey. I have 3 of them.
Wow.
Because Barkley was a 3rd-round pick. So
wow.
And McCaffrey kept slipping to me at pick 4, pick 5, and so none
of my leagues, man.
Dude, so every single time McCaffrey was available to me, I took him. Yeah. Every single time he was available to me, I took him. So I have him in 5 or 6 leagues, and I only picked first once, and I took Taylor. Yeah. So that was the only time that.
And now you feel bad about that.
Yeah, I do. But and it's funny because I was kind of avoiding him, and there were a couple of times where he got passed to me because people took Cooper Kupp first,
right,
which was smart. And I didn't take him. I took McCaffrey, but I was number 1 overall. I'll take Taylor. Whatever. I'll do it. I'll take the number 1 overall pick. Anyway, I feel like we digressed pretty far. But before we move off of the Christian McCaffrey thing and get into games, I wanted to say in my Megalo Bowl league, I told you guys about that trade, the awesome trade. So the Megalo Bowl admins saw fit to go back and reverse it.
Surprising.
I was surprised that they did that. And then I put another trade through because I was like, this guy's definitely going to try it again. He's going to he wants, based on the way he was talking in the league chat, he definitely wants to sell Justin Jefferson. So I made a trade offer to him, and I traded away Michael Pittman, Kareem Hunt, and Jerry Jeudy, I think, and got back Josh Jacobs and Justin Jefferson.
Oh my God.
And
I thought you were going to say just for Justin Jefferson. I was like, great trade.
Yeah. And the admin was okay with that.
That one was okay.
They were okay with that one. Yeah, I'm like, okay.
That's weird.
They both seemed just as bad to me. Both trades were just as bad to me.
They're both egregious.
Okay, so
hold on. So anyway, so that was going on, right? So I made that trade. I got out of Kareem Hunt. My running backs were Christian McCaffrey and Kareem Hunt. I had been looking to trade Christian McCaffrey for a while, and I finally did Thursday afternoon.
Dang.
And got back Dalvin Cook and Marquise Brown.
It's pretty good, but Marquise Brown, you're not going to be able to use.
I'm not going to be able to use him for a while, but it gets better. It gets better, right? So now, because of the trade, Christian McCaffrey is now, he goes from being a rock solid, expected top 5 running back start this week to being we're having questions. Do I start him over Raheem Mostert?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that's a win. That's a huge win, right? So I get to have this running back who's just actually on a bye. So I don't have to ask that. I don't have to answer that question this week.
Right.
As somebody who was a Christian McCaffrey manager in this important league, I didn't have to answer the question now. Like I just have this running back on bye, and it gets better. I play the manager that I traded him to in week 9 when San Francisco has their real bye.
Cool. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
So I want to get back.
That's
to
how you win fantasy football, guys. Right there. That's how you do
I
it.
want to get back
Get
to
lucky.
I want to get back to the fantasy football fantasy football ballers or whatever they're called. But before I do that, we do have a question coming in from Twitch.
Sure.
Should I start Alec Pierce or Chris Godwin?
Man, that's a really good problem to have, but I would start Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I'd take that one there.
Yeah. That's not a. It's funny that at face value, that seems like a easy answer, but it's really not, because Tennessee has been awful defensively. They've given up like 3 consecutive 300-yard passers, and Matt Ryan has thrown the ball 37 or more times in all but one game this year.
But they're getting Taylor back, right? Taylor's playing this week.
That's what But
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor comes back this week, so it's like it's iffy. I would much rather start Godwin. His snap percentage was back up to about 90% last week. When he first came back, it was 85%, and then they ratcheted him down to under 60%, and then it was back up to 90%, and he had 12 targets.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I like Godwin.
I was definitely start Godwin.
So my question to you, Ken.
I mean, Godwin looks awful. You should definitely trade him away. If somebody's made an offer to you in your league for Godwin, just take it, whatever it is. Wink, wink. No, I'm saying that because my co-host over here, Ray, has Chris Godwin, and I would like to have him.
He's like the only receiver that's producing right now. And he's like, oh, anyway,
and Ken's like, here's this trash. You want to trade him?
it was something like that. It certainly felt that way.
Right.
So
Wow, what a thing to say about Kyron Williams.
Yep.
Your future number 1 running back in
I was
LA.
like looking at everything and all that stuff. But anyway,
Actually, I am excited about him. By the way,
We
So-
mentioned him.
I consider myself maybe a casual fantasy football player. Like, I'm not quite like there yet. And you had texted us over the week about what had happened in that. So can you explain a little bit of the history and what happened and why you were upset about that? I think this is
okay.
You went in there and you kind of started in the middle. Right. Start a little bit with a little bit of the history and what had happened.
Oh yeah. So I was talking about a trade that had happened, and I didn't do a very good job of giving the listeners here.
You didn't frame it.
The history. So I participate in a fantasy football league called the Megala Bowl that is run by the Fantasy Footballers, which is a really popular podcast. I think they're probably number 1.
Yeah, they are.
And in this league, I opened up. It's run by the Sleeper app, or it's run in the Sleeper app. So I open up the Sleeper app on I think this is probably Saturday afternoon or something like that, and I see a trade offer. And the trade offer is I am being offered Justin Jefferson, Josh Jacobs, and James Conner, and it is being requested of me that I give away Jerry Jeudy, Terry McLaurin, Romeo Doubs, Nyheim Hines, and I can't even remember the last piece.
So this was your trade you were getting mad about?
No, hold on. Like I got offered this trade.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't hit accept fast enough, obviously. And as soon as I did, the league chat went wild. People were furious. And people were saying stuff like, you're going to get booted out of the league. This, yada, yada, yada. This is stupid. Trade back, or, whatever. Other people going, how do we get, someone to look at this? How do we get admins involved? Yada, yada, yada. And the person who was on the other side of the trade is just, everything that they're saying is just like pretty much nonsense. Like, what are you guys talking about? None of you do your research. I scammed him. And then so you fast forward about I don't know. Actually, I'm sorry. This was this week. I'm sorry. I'm being ridiculous. This was probably like Tuesday afternoon that this happened. I don't know why I'm thinking this last weekend. Weeks are long when you have young children.
Yep.
Agreed. Long, short, and they run together, and you don't know what day it is all the time. I had to remind my girlfriend that today was Friday and not Monday today. But anyway,
It's Saturday.
I digress.
Like,
No, yesterday.
Oh,
Sorry. Yesterday. Yeah, because I got home yesterday, so it was like Monday, because I work out of town for 2 days and come back. Anyway, so fast forward about 36 hours, and the admins have gone in and made an action where they just took all the players off of that one team and all the players off of my team and put them back on the teams they were on before the trade. And if anybody out here listening listens to the Fantasy Footballers and has listened to the Fantasy Footballers for a while, you know that they are very against vetoing trades. Very against vetoing trades. So I was I was shocked that the trade got overturned, and more than just shocked, I was like I was a little like turned off to the footballers, just in
And
general,
see-
because it's like if you're promoting this, like if there had and that's the thing is I never met this other person. I had no idea who they are, and I think that they just kind of maybe like rolled a die and decide, okay, that's the guy I'm going to give these guys to, because they were this. Oh, the other important thing to know is the manager of the other team is 0-in the season. Like they've lost
0-6,
they've lost all their matchups. So that part of it looks bad too. They probably are just giving up. But I was just the random person that they chose to give this trade to, and it wasn't like a completely egregious trade is where you give up absolutely zero value. And I didn't give up zero value. I did give up a lot. I did give up absolutely every piece of depth that I had.
Right.
And they were buy low players, like at the beginning of the season. And that was one thing that I said to everybody in the chat was like, hey, look, if this trade had happened just prior to week 1, no one would be batting an eye at this.
Right.
No one had, because we're talking about Josh Jacobs, who no one wanted.
Right.
He was a dead zone running back, going 5th round, 6th round. And he's your Cooper Kupp this year.
Yeah.
And James Conner
late second
was probably obviously Justin Jefferson is the jewel, but James Conner was look at like a 2nd or 3rd round pick. So we're talking about a 1st round pick, a 2nd to 3rd round pick, and a 5th or 6th round pick versus the stuff that I gave up. And I gave up Jerry Jeudy was a 2nd to probably a 3rd to 4th rounder. Terry McLaurin was a 3rd to 4th rounder. All the guys that I gave up were 3rd to 4th rounders. So anyway, so it probably wouldn't have been looked at as that bad. Definitely not something Definitely not something that people got that upset about. And because there wasn't any collusion, I just didn't see them overturning it.
I was really surprised they overturned that.
Yeah, 'cause
when you sent that, I was surprised.
Because they talk about some really egregious trades that happen in their league of record and happen in other leagues and stuff like that, or they'll answer people's questions, and they will always tell people, sorry, no vetoes.
As long as there's no collusion.
As long as there's no collusion. That sucks, bro. Get better.
Yep.
And that was another thing is that in this league chat, one of the people in the league who has a good record said that, hey, look, this is supposed to just be for fun. This is if there was really truly no collusion here, it's a really bad trade, but it should stand and it's a learning experience for the other manager.
Yep. That's what it should be.
I didn't realize it was
and it's
your trade. I thought it was a random trade you saw and you were just calling them out.
No, and I wouldn't have said anything that, and that's the other part of it is that's what I would have looked at. Oh, was there no collusion? Okay, so that person just got offered a really awesome trade. I wish it was me.
Yep, I should have tried to trade with that guy.
Yes, I should. Yes, yeah. So,
dang it.
Yeah. So anyway, that was off-putting. I'll say that. It was
so
really,
we got
that was
2 questions that came in.
Excellent.
During our story time. I got. We're gonna get
Story
back to
time was brought to you by Pinot Grigio. No.
So, first question. I got Barkley, JT, Swift,
Hell yeah.
Walker, and Pierce but only CD as a top
Get a
wide
receiver,
receiver.
dude.
Any trade suggestions could add Lazard or Sutton in a trade.
You could do better than that with the running backs that you have. You have
Yeah.
5 starting running backs, is what I heard, right?
Yeah. What were the
Barkley,
JT.
Swift,
Trade.
Walker.
I would honestly trade
and
Jonathan
Pierce.
Taylor. Because we don't know
Yeah.
because he hasn't like he still has that name value, and people are expecting him like to come back from his injury and
be the man.
good and be the man.
And maybe he will, maybe he won't.
Exactly, but it doesn't
But
matter
you've
because
got guys on your
that
team that are
gonna
gonna
man.
be the guy.
Yeah, for the rest of the year.
Walker
So
is going to be a stud. It's looking like.
Yeah, you keep your 4 running backs, and you'll be able to start 3 running backs all year long because you'll be able to.
So who does he go after with Jonathan Taylor? I mean, is he
Whoever
going
you
after,
want.
Well, right.
Like,
I mean,
Diggs is
you're
number
not
one.
going to get Diggs.
That'd be perfect right now because
I'd
he's
offer
on
it for
bye.
Diggs.
He's on
Yeah,
bye.
I'd offer it for
so
Diggs.
the person that has Diggs, especially in your league, if the person who has Diggs is in trouble, and you're like offering them Jonathan Taylor this weekend,
Yeah.
as long as you're not playing him, that's an excellent deal for you because you probably don't want to start Jonathan Taylor. Thank you. You probably don't want to start Jonathan Taylor anyway over those other guys. You probably want to wait and see
Right.
what happens because the other thing is like the Colts might not go back to giving him the ball 30 times a game.
Yeah.
Like Matt Ryan might continue to throw the ball 40 times a game. That's what he's been doing, and they looked pretty good last week doing it.
So what I'd do is I'd really be shopping. I mean, like you're going to go be able to look at the best receiver that you want that somebody on a vulnerable team has, somebody that really needs something,
and
go after him. Like you'll be able to get like with your running backs. You don't have to give up JT. You can give up somebody else. But
he's the one
fact
I'd
is,
give up,
I agree with you there because you can get so much. You can
Yeah.
get such a haul for him,
and you don't need him.
yeah.
You don't need him.
Yeah, you're in a great position. Absolutely trade, and
So that's what I would do.
Go,
I would
go big. Go for bigger
I
names
think
than what you
can,
mentioned.
You can. Diggs is the number 1 receiver in fantasy football this year. Him and Cooper Kupp are and it's interesting right now because Cooper Kupp is also on bye. So what I was going to say is target the receivers that are on bye, the big name receivers that are on bye, and it's juicy right now because it's Diggs, Kupp, and Jefferson. 1, 2, and 3 are all on bye right now.
Try for all of them.
That's what I would do is like send offers to all 3 of those guys, and whoever accepts, great. Like just offer them Jonathan Taylor for like straight up.
And good team, brother. Good team.
Yeah.
So second question coming in from DD.
Oh, I'm
Red.
sorry. And Jamar Chase is another one. Like I think Jamar Chase is just gonna be insane. The rest
But
of the
would
year.
you? But I wouldn't go JT for Jamar Chase. I think
I would.
Jamar Chase and something maybe.
No.
I'd want to try to get something to go with it.
I wouldn't try and mess that up. I would just I would just want
I
him
think
on
you're
my
giving
team.
up too much straight across there.
I disagree.
I think the Chase owner would also be willing to throw in more there too.
I wouldn't.
Well,
I'm a Chase owner. I wouldn't. So I'm telling you, like I think I didn't expect him to do what he did last week, but I did say that I expected him and Burrow to have a day. Like I expected him to go home and show off. And it's funny that like I said that, and then Sunday morning Joe Burrow shows up in Jamar Chase's national championship
I
jersey.
remember that, yeah.
I'm like, this is gonna be awesome.
yep.
So second question: does Eli Mitchell, when healthy, become
No.
a more valuable handcuff than Madison now?
I don't think.
That's coming in from Red Solo Cup on YouTube.
I think they're about equal.
That's
think
exactly what I was going to say.
about
Is
the
I
same.
think they're the same
But
tier.
actually-
They're just a very valuable backup.
I would
There's
say-
about 6 of them,
Here's what I would say: is
and now Mitchell's one of them.
Eli Mitchell hasn't shown that he will catch the ball as much as Madison will catch the ball when Madison takes over for Cook. So I don't think it's exactly the same. I think once things get rolling with CMC, if you have to go, if like let's say he plays 4 games and he gets hurt, and then you go to Eli Mitchell or you go to Jeff Wilson, I think there's a drop off because they're not going to catch the ball. Like you're going to see a big drop.
There's always a drop off. Madison's a drop off.
Not really.
I
Not
disagree
really.
there.
Like so when you can disagree
All
if
right,
you
we're,
want to.
we're going on a
But
different tangent now.
and now that they've changed their numbers and they wear number 2 and number 4, they're hard to tell apart.
Yeah.
They're really hard to tell apart.
I like Madison, but it's definitely a step down from what I've seen.
So the only reason I'm not saying talent wise. Obviously, it's a step down talent wise because otherwise he'd be
production-wise.
starting. They ask him to do the same thing. The production is okay. Here's the difference. Christian McCaffrey with the 49ers, I personally expect he's going to be able to catch the ball 5+ times a game. when you get the drop off from McCaffrey to Mitchell or Wilson or whatever, that's going to go from 5 to 1 or 0. Whereas over in Minnesota, Dalvin Cook's actually not even being asked to catch the ball anymore, first of all. And second of all, Minnesota gives Madison the same amount of touches. They ask him to do the same things. They ask him to catch the ball. So even if he's not as efficient and he doesn't produce quite the same way, he's still going to get the same type of volume. So his ceiling is going to be higher and closer to Dalvin Cook's maximum than Jeff Wilson or Elijah Mitchell compared to Christian McCaffrey.
And I think it's important.
We're talking about McCaffrey being able to put multiple 40-point games up over the rest of the second half of the season. You wouldn't even say 30 for Mitchell or Wilson.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas, like, if we were to say, oh, yeah, this is a smash play for Dalvin Cook, we expect him to score 25 or 30. If Dalvin was going to miss the game, start Madison. He's going to score 20 to 25, 25 to 30 points. He's going to, like, you would still expect him to get that.
Yeah, okay. Well, as a Madison owner in Dynasty, I'm going to have to disagree with you, brother. But
last year was rough. So, I remember last year we all fought over Madison one week.
And then he completely sucked.
Yes, he completely tanked. So that's not in my mind. I'm thinking about that too.
And anyway, close to the same on those two. If you had to lean one way, I would agree, and I'd lean Madison. But honestly, I'd put him. In the same
I think the important thing to say is like if you've got Elijah Mitchell on your IR, let's say you have Elijah Mitchell on your IR, and you have and you've been riding Jeff Wilson, I would keep Elijah Mitchell. And I would try and keep room for him and let Jeff go.
Yep.
But I would definitely keep one. Definitely, I wouldn't McCaffrey's just too injury prone, and the 49ers already
the Niners always lose.
They run running backs into the ground, so it's just a match made in heaven for whoever
unless
it is
you're in a really
deep
deep league or dynasty or whatever, Jeff Wilson is just kind of done for you this year.
Toast.
That's for sure. So, all right. Were there any other questions, or should we move on to some games?
We are done with the question, or we're caught up with the questions.
All right. Well, first, I just want to say thank you for the questions, guys. Keep them coming. We will always try to interrupt what we're doing and answer your question in somewhat of a timely fashion. And we definitely enjoy the questions. I think they add a lot to us. So please keep asking.
So, where are we leading off today?
So,
is anybody else hearing a foreign language in their headphones?
Yeah, I just turned on my Bluetooth. That's all.
Okay, I was like, "What the?"
In case we want to do the boxing time or the timer on these.
Oh, for sure.
I thought that was the one thing that was missing from listening to the podcast. Was
yeah, that would have been too hard to juggle with everything else I was trying to juggle that day. So we're gonna move on to the games. Let's do this. So let me see here. Let me go ahead and switch our camera view here. First game we have up is Browns versus the Ravens. The Browns are at +6.5 with the over/under of 45.5. +230 if you're betting on the Browns. -275 if you're betting on the Ravens. Go ahead and go, guys.
All right. Well, my division. I'm going to say that Baltimore. I mean, -6.5. They're there for a reason. I think they're the definite favorite. That's who I'm going to pick here. I will say that these divisional games tend to be very tight, and they tend to be defensive. I don't this one feels like it's going to score more, but going from years past in our division, man, these things always tend to be kind of a slugfest, and it might be a little lower scoring than what you think. Baltimore side, we've got injuries there. What have we heard on the injuries? Is Mandrews playing?
I'm sorry?
Mandrews, is he playing?
We assume so. We hope. Right. We hope he is playing tomorrow. And I would just assume so. Hasn't really been a whole lot. He didn't leave the game last week. So them being 3-3 in a tough spot in a division game, I can't imagine he misses this game. It's too important for him to miss.
Yeah, sometimes injuries are injuries.
And they have too many already. Duvernay is going to miss this game. Bateman's back.
Is Bateman back?
Bateman's back.
I thought he was still questionable. Okay.
Bateman's going to play, but Duvernay's gone now. J.K. Dobbins is having a knee surgery.
Yeah, he's out for a bit.
4 to 6 weeks. So that really sucks.
But Gus Edwards just got activated.
Gus Edwards got activated, but they got
Now he got activated because of
there's
timing, right?
Kenyon Drake. Yeah, they had to.
So just throwing that out for you guys. If you happen to have Gus Edwards,
play
which
him.
I do, I've got him on my IR, and I've been hoping for him, and he is going to be in a good spot. I will say that in 1 or 2 weeks, dude, I think I'd love to have Gus.
Oh
Edwards.
yeah, it could
But
work out
this
that
week
way.
is not
But
going to be the
now-
week. This
right
week
now it
it's going to
looks
be a
ugly.
Kenyon Drake week
Yeah.
for sure. And I think
We
that's
think
something
Kenyon Drake and
people would want to
Justice
know
Hill.
there.
So cinnamon stardom, guys.
Cleveland side, I love Cooper. I love Cooper
I
in this
don't.
matchup. What? Why not?
Because they're on the road.
Yeah, but Baltimore secondary has been giving it up.
His home road splits are absurd. They're like, career. It's not even just like a.
I
it's
get
not-
you.
It's not a small sample size. We're talking. He's in his 9th year now, and this is something that is just. It's inexplicable because it happened in Oakland.
Well, and that's the
It
thing.
happened in
It's
Dallas.
inexplicable. You know what I'm saying?
But it keeps happening. It
It's-
just keeps happening on the road.
That's one to me. Those kind of stats are things that I'm just kind of willing to throw out there. You know what I mean?
Not me, dude.
Especially for multiple teams, and I'm just like, come on, that can't be a real sticky stat.
It is
Like,
though. Like and you know what it is? So the thing about playing on the road is that when you're on offense, it's louder. So
No, I get that,
so
yeah.
communication is worse.
Yeah, and
So
so I
maybe
mean,
that
if you're
may-
talking,
so maybe that's-
Big Ben at home and Big
Maybe
Ben at
that's
the
what
road,
it
I
is
get
though.
that.
Maybe he just doesn't like. Maybe he can't hear very good.
right?
And he,
Possibly.
but whatever it is, it's been consistent throughout his career that he
All
doesn't
right.
play well on the road. So I just don't start Amari Cooper on the road if I can avoid
I
it.
feel like we should have a bet on this one.
No.
No?
I'm
Yes.
not because I'm not going to bet against Amari Cooper. I like
Yes.
him too much.
Well,
Yes.
dude, you're
not-
sitting here telling me that he's awful on the road, and I'm like, dude, he is
Yeah,
going to have a
and
good
I-
game.
but I'm-
I feel,
but I'm
I
not-
feel really good
should
about him
bet.
this week.
Hey, you guys, do you guys think they should bet on this?
I'm not betting against. I'm not
the
I'm not
viewers-
betting against Amari Cooper.
Do the viewers feel like
not
they
because he's
they
my
should
guy.
bet on
I like
this?
Amari Cooper.
We have 2 questions. We'll get to those questions between rounds.
Okay, yeah, this round's almost over here.
So I think the Browns are starting to show some cracks.
Yep.
Last week, the Patriots really made them look inept.
Yes.
They weren't able to run the ball, and they got behind a little bit. They just that's just not what their offense.
Slimy
is
from
designed to
Twitch
do.
wants
They
you guys
can't-
to bet on it.
They
Thank you, Simon.
they can't chase points. So I could see the same thing happening that happened to them last week. And now last week, Amari Cooper saved you with a touchdown. If Amari Cooper
Yeah.
doesn't score that touchdown, it's a dud game, and that happened at home.
That's true. Against a much better defense. So, are you picking Baltimore,
Yes, I am picking Baltimore.
Ray?
Yeah, I'll be picking Baltimore.
And then what I was
Okay.
going to say is, like, you still want to start. So I think this is a good Kareem Hunt game because in like games where the Browns get behind are good Kareem Hunt games because he catches the ball. He's the one they
Yeah.
asked to catch the ball more than
Yeah.
Nick Chubb.
And of course, you're still just starting Chubb
David
with
and
confidence.
Njoku.
but
I think
yeah,
David
Hunt
and
might be
Njoku
do
is
a
somebody
little better.
like I think he's an auto start tight end the rest of the year. He's
Okay, and that might be a little bit more than I'd be willing to
he's
say,
doing
but
it-
I
he's-
mean, right now, yes.
He looks like a monster, and he's doing it to everybody. Everybody. New England was good against tight ends, like
Yeah.
going into the game last week, and I can't remember exactly what he did, but he looked really good on screen.
So that's the end of the round. I guess we decided what. Are we all going
I
Ravens?
think we're all on Ravens.
Yeah,
all on Ravens?
Everyone's on
I'm
Ravens.
not lone wolf with number.
I'm going to go ahead and pause the timer for our questions that we have coming in.
All right.
Let me look at the timestamps so I can see where we're at here. All right. Jimbo Fisher from YouTube. Thoughts on Waller? Added Schultz to have a backup plan.
Play Fabian Foster Moreau.
Yeah, Moreau.
Yeah, Foster Moreau is a
But
really
what
good
did he
play.
say was his backup plan, though?
Dalton
Added
Schultz.
Schultz to have a
Yeah,
backup
I wouldn't
plan.
do that.
Yeah, Schultz this week is.
I wouldn't do that. I would just play Foster Moreau because he's proven in spots where he just slots in for Darren Waller that he can be really effective.
Yeah, he puts up fantasy points when Waller's out and just has every time. And yeah, DFS, he's super cheap.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that?
Okay, so looking at the timestamp, I'm at 8:07. So if you guys had a question after 8:07, just hold up.
Hold on real quick though. Some guys that might be available for Jimbo. You might want to look out and see if you can find Hayden Hurst if he's on your waiver wire. Evan Ingram if if he's on your waiver wire.
Hurst isn't a good one this week, though.
Oh no, he's
Ingram is.
excellent. Atlanta's been giving it up to tight ends.
Really? That's
Yeah.
not what I remember seeing.
Atlanta's been giving it up to tight ends, dude.
Are we ready for the next question?
Go for it.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if you were done with your thought.
Yeah.
If Andrews is out, should I pick up Noah
Likely.
Fant,
Just pick up
Hayden
likely.
Hurst, or Evan Ingram?
If I have Andrews everywhere, and if I wake up tomorrow and Andrews isn't going to play, I'm just going to pick up Isaiah Likely and play him. They like him a lot, and he's good. He was a preseason superstar.
And you'd rather do that over Ingram?
Yep.
Okay. See, and I would differ there.
Because they like him that much, I think he'll just get Andrews targets.
Okay, but out of those three, what would you do?
I would take Ingram.
I'm
there.
telling you, like that's what I'm going to do. Like
Yeah.
if Mark Andrews, like seriously, if,
And likely is
I'm
going
not-
to be
I'm
out
not
there
gonna-
if
I'm
you want
not-
to do what
yeah.
Ken's doing. But that wouldn't
Wait,
be my choice. I would kind of agree with you on this one, and I would go with Evan Ingram out of those choices.
Wait, what did you say?
Isaiah Likely.
He's not on there.
No, he's not.
But he's definitely
I'm
somebody
saying,
that's in the
like,
pool that you can go get.
Isaiah Likely is a rookie tight end for the
So
Baltimore
you're
Ravens.
assuming in his league that he's available.
He's available in everybody's league.
Okay.
He's out there.
He's available.
Okay, so
He's
moving
like
on.
1% owned, maybe.
Next question from Gitz on YouTube. He wants to know that if he tells us his team, can we tell him moves to make? I'm 1-5. Oh, 1-5. He's 1-5.
Ooh,
So
that's-
go ahead and list your team, and we'll get
We
to
can
your
give you
team.
some general advice.
And also, like, hit us. That's a good one to hit us up on Instagram and stuff for. Like, I'm Ken Against the Clock on Instagram and Mr. Goodbet on Twitter. Or you can find I'm Ken Bailey. You can find me on Facebook, and that because that kind of stuff is like a longer conversation. You know, that's probably more than one question and answer. So, but yeah, absolutely. That's the kind
Put
of
it up
stuff
there.
that-
We can give you some general
Yeah,
advice.
when we're
But if
telling
you
people
want
to hit
something a
us
little
up
more
during the week and stuff
specific,
like that, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, yeah, you got a 1-5 team, like, and you want to. We can. There's because just talking about your team and putting out random ideas about, oh, maybe you could get this guy or that guy. It'd be a lot better if we asked you questions like, okay, well, what are the other teams in your league? What do they have?
Right.
And stuff like
but
that.
we could still give him some general advice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So he has Dak, Saquon, KW3, Cup, Diggs, Godwin, Schultz, Mayers,
KW3. Oh, Ken Walker. in
yeah,
the third.
Ken Walker. I'm just
or Myers. Bench is Lundum, Bateman, Dotson. I'm sorry. White, McKissick, Hollins, Otten.
Ooh, it
It's
sounds like
Is this
a-
like an 8-team league?
It's a 12-man.
Yeah, no. Based on his bench, his team is top heavy.
Dude, it's very top. Like,
But
it's
they're-
beautiful at the top.
But
though.
the top is beautiful. Yeah.
It is beautiful. Like, I
you go
cannot
through, can you go
believe
through the starting
he lost
lineup again,
5.
Ray, please?
Dak, Saquon, KW3, Cup, Diggs, Godwin, Schultz, Myers.
And KW3 just got there, so now he's a new good start for him. So I can see that. Your receivers are fantastic.
Yeah, you have, but it sucks because he's 1-5 and he's got his two top receivers are on bye.
Yeah.
So that's rough. They're too good to want to give them up. Like if you were going to give up, what I'd be willing to do is trade Diggs or Cup. And I would prefer to trade Cup because I just expect Diggs to score more. Like, because the Rams
okay.
have just been struggling, you know, and the Bills are just putting it on everybody. I would rather trade Cup than Diggs. That's me personally. That's probably not like a chalk take, but anyway. And I would try and get someone like Jamar Chase, and maybe get them to add so that you can start him this weekend. But other than that, like your team looks solid. Your team sounds really, really good. Like your bench doesn't sound very good. Like it sounds like there's probably some people on your waiver wire that you could replace.
Your
Like,
bench here, you can definitely work on,
Yeah.
but that's something you
'cause
can work on.
I wouldn't
throughout.
want to be carrying McKissick. I wouldn't
I
want to be
hate
carrying
giving up-
Jahan Dotson.
Yeah,
You
those
know.
two for sure.
And,
But
and
I
a
hate
tight
giving
end.
up
It sounds
such-
like your tight end
such a great
is
team,
hurting
man.
you.
Gosh, man, if you could get through to next week, I wouldn't want to trade one of those guys. But
You
I
have to
see you
be-
at 1
but
and
you have to
5. You
win.
are desperate.
Yeah,
God,
you got to
man.
win. That's what I would do. That's my off the top advice is Jamar Chase is going to go bananas. I think in a couple of weeks, people like you're not going to be able to trade Cooper Kupp or Diggs and get Jamar Chase. I don't
Wow.
think
That's a bold statement.
And the reason is because people are gonna because if you try not that Jamar Chase will become so much more valuable than either of them, but because it'll be such a lateral move, and because maybe because of a bye week situation. But anyway, I'm just putting that out there like that to say that Jamar Chase is about to go off and his value is about to increase. So, that would be my number one target, I think.
All right, let's move on back to the games before somebody sneaks another question in there, huh? Okay, so, alrighty. Up next, we have Buccaneers at the Panthers.
Ooh, Panthers are going to destroy.
So, Buccaneers
That's your pick of the week? That's your lock?
So Buccaneers
Upset of the week.
Buccaneers are at -13. The over-under's at 39.5. If you're betting on the Bucks, you're at -720. And if you're betting on the Panthers, +520. So...
Yeah, Bucks are going to smash. They're definitely the pick here. Carolina's hurting in every way.
They're a team in disarray.
Yeah, for sure. I will say that Tampa's having some problems putting points on the board right now. There's a little bit more pressure on Brady than they want.
If they don't get right,
they've
in this
got
game,
some
I'm
things
worried.
going right, and that's what I'm saying. If I'm betting, I don't know if I'd want to take or give 13 points with Tampa. But
this is exactly like last week with the Rams, where it's like they should smash these guys, but they're not playing well enough that I want to say that they're going to.
That I want
to
bet on them. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say. But the Panthers and the Steelers are just two completely different animals. You know, the Steelers are traditionally a tough team that they don't quit, and they always fight, and they
they're
find a way.
coached.
They find a way to be competitive, and so while it was an upset last week, I mean, I wasn't like, oh, the world is ending, you know? It's like, okay, yeah, the Steelers are tough. Like, I think, we said this before we started broadcasting. I was like, in my entire life, this, you've never been able to say, oh, you're going to Pittsburgh this weekend? That's an easy win.
Right.
I'm 38 years old. And
that just doesn't happen.
And that doesn't happen. That just doesn't happen. The Steelers are just always tough. They're tough out. The Panthers are blowing it up. And there's just,
so we're all taking Tampa.
It's not that we're just taking Tampa. It's just that I think that we're this has got to be the game where Brady gets right? This has got to be the one where him and the weapons just go off.
I think that Tampa might get right, but I don't think Brady gets right here.
So how do you think?
Only because they don't need him to.
But they don't run the ball. They can't. They can't.
Fournette's been amazing.
Not running the ball. They're worst in the league.
Last week he looked pretty good.
No, they're worst in the league at running the football.
Right,
all of his points are coming off receiving.
Well, I'll still take it.
Yeah, you're basically starting a receiver at running back with Fournette. You're not starting a running back,
remember him
dude.
having some good
If you
runs
remove even half of his receiving numbers, he's not
Wow. Like I said, I need to look up the numbers on that before I can really...
No, go ahead. But I've been watching it. They can't run the football.
Okay, so start them and sit them drafts for or sit.
I think that the CMC trade has to help DJ Moore. It has to. Like, they traded Robbie Anderson, they traded CMC. There's nobody else to give the ball to. Are they going to give the ball to Laviska Shenault? I think that DJ Moore has got to start producing, and just from volume. I think it's going to be just from volume. And then on the other side, I really do think this is a get right game. We'll see that later in my DraftKings lineup. But I think
same here. Brady
and his weapons are going to do it to the Panthers this weekend. I do think because what's happening with Brady, it's not Brady. He looks fine. When I watch him play, he looks fine. He still looks like he's ripping the ball back there. It's that he doesn't have time to get rid of the ball. So I think they'll have time this week. I don't think the Panthers are going to put much pressure on him, and I think he'll be able to tear him apart.
Okay, and just for clarification, he had 21 carries. He only got 63 yards, so that's not a great yards per carry. But,
and that's actually a lot of carries for him.
That's what I'm saying. He is getting the
rock.
rock.
But I don't think he's been doing that all year. I think his carry numbers have been really down.
But he's been good in general, I guess was my point. But
he's been Leonard Fournette's been a top
fantasy wise,
running back.
That's
sure.
what I'm saying. Yeah,
an auto start. I was just saying they're not running the ball. So all I was saying is like I don't see them like getting right,
Yeah.
and not being Brady.
I'm saying if this is gonna be a get right game for Brady fantasy wise, I think it's because that Brady is just like out there like, okay, we're gonna try this stuff. We're gonna do these passing plays until we get them right, and this is our scrimmage game,
and what I think is that he just hasn't had time. What I see watching them is that he goes back, he makes his first read, and then he has to get rid of the ball. He has no time to look at all. It's the same problem that Stafford is having. Like people, I think that Brady has more options, and so he looks better than Stafford does right now. But it's basically the same thing. Neither of them have any time, because if Brady's trying to look at a second receiver, he's getting sacked right now.
Yeah.
So
Carolina wise, I mean, I think DJ Moore is your only starting asset that you can do anything with there, and even then, I'd be reluctant.
Check this out.
And then Tampa, you can start just about everybody that's worth starting.
In week 1, Leonard Fournette had 21 carries for 127 yards. And that was excellent. Since then, his yardage totals are 65, 35, -3, 56, and 63. And he has 1 rushing touchdown.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So
He's in the last 4 weeks, his receiving numbers are 5 for 35, 7 for 57 and a touchdown, 10 for 83 and a touchdown, 6 for 38 and a touchdown. So like he's doing it on receiving.
Right. But this week they're not going to need to. So we'll see.
So
all right, I think we're done.
I like that one.
So that's going to be our warning one. The warning one has I haven't been able to pick it up, but we got it looks like maybe 3 to 4 questions in between the rounds here.
Also, so we're all picking the Bucks. So
yes,
we can move off that now.
Yep. So let's start with Slammy over on Twitch. Should I drop Geno Smith to pick up Trevor Lawrence for a backup quarterback?
No, I like Geno there. And I'm definitely the streamer of this group here. Like I'm always looking for quarterbacks all the time, and I'd be happy to have Geno Smith over him over Trevor Lawrence right now.
Next question coming in from YouTube. Anita Flex with Swift out. Boyd, Bateman, Zay Jones. It's a PPR league.
Swift is out?
I'm sorry, what?
They announced that Swift is out?
Well, according to him,
I think he's still a
out.
game time decision right now, but I would assume that he's out or limited.
Or maybe he's saying if Swift is going to be out, who should he go with?
Right.
So maybe that could be the question, but it's his choices are Boyd, Bateman, or Zay Jones.
Wow. It's Boyd or Zay Jones for me there. Bateman is just too risky. Just his first week off the injury, I'd be reluctant there.
In watching
and Zay Jones, honestly, he's just been getting some kind of consistent work.
Watching the Jaguars last week, Zay Jones is the chain mover.
Right.
Like Christian Kirk he's put up some numbers, but that's because his number gets called and they specifically put the ball in his hands. But the guy getting open is Zay Jones.
Yeah.
And the guy that Trevor Lawrence looks for when he's in trouble is Zay Jones.
Yeah.
So that would be my choice there. But man, I hope Swift starts.
Right. We'll talk about an upgrade, right?
So thank you, Jacob, for that question. Next question's from Big Trev. He wants us to say, "Yo, what's up, guys?" And he needs help between CMC, Dubs, Gallup, or Alec Pierce PPR league.
Yeah. We talked about this, and I have CMC in a bunch of places, and I know that it looks rough, but it's hard to just the options to start over him are just not good enough. Like
I disagree there.
He's gonna.
I'd go with Alec Pierce there.
I wouldn't do that.
I would.
I wouldn't do that. And I like Alec Pierce. I have him in Dynasty. I like him a lot. But CMC is too good. I think, and if he's going to play tomorrow, it's because they have plays for him. He's going to get the ball.
Okay.
They're not going to put him out there as just a decoy.
And I don't want to talk this to death. And you've told us what you think he's going to do. And I'll just say that my expectation for him would be like 2 to 3 carries, maybe a goal line. I'd agree with that. But 2 to 3 carries and 2 to 3 receptions. Like that's what I'm thinking he's going to be at. And like that's just, even though it's CMC, that's just not enough of a baseline for me. Whereas Pierce, I mean, I'm going to put him at probably 5 to 6 receptions, and he's got a chance at a touchdown, but probably going to get 60 to 70 yards. Like, to me, I'd rather take the safety, the guarantee there, because even if CMC does do well, like what's his upside? He's not going to have a great game. He can have an okay game if things go well.
His upside is still much better than the upside of the other 3 guys that we were just listening to. It was Michael Gallup, Romeo Doubs, and Alec Pierce. So the upside of CMC, if CMC gets 12 touches, is still...
Oh, if he gets 12 touches,
but
I don't think he's going to get anywhere close to that.
I think he's going to get 10 to 12 opportunities.
I hear a bet.
Really? I'll bet on that one.
I hear a bet.
Oh, really?
So what do we want to bet? Like,
I bet that CMC will touch the ball, catches or rushes 10 plus times.
Oh, I'll take the under. Okay, cool.
All right, bet on the board for this week. Our first bet on the board for this week.
So, unfortunately, that doesn't help the person that was asking the question. So how about we put this in a context? Like your biggest ceiling play, I think we both still agree is CMC, right? Of the 4 players, do you think the highest ceiling is still CMC?
Yeah, I guess.
Michael Gallup, Romeo Doubs, Alec Pierce, CMC. The highest ceiling is probably still CMC. I think your highest floor is either going to be Romeo Doubs or Alec Pierce. And I actually think that Romeo Doubs is the second highest ceiling because Washington is terrible against the pass. Romeo Doubs has had 5 or more targets in 4 straight games, and he's playing over 90% of the snaps. So yeah. I like Romeo Doubs a lot.
And I like the floor of Pierce, which is why I like Pierce there. And I think what he's trying to ask
I agree
there,
that Pierce is
I think he's looking for the floor.
If you're looking for the floor play, I think it's Pierce.
Yeah,
I agree.
Highest floor.
The highest floor I do think is Pierce. I think, and the highest ceiling I think is.
So yeah, if you're shooting for the fences and like you're a big underdog, then yeah, maybe you do need to run CMC in there and cross your fingers.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you need 20 points, play CMC. If you need 12, play Pierce.
So Jacob, as a follow-up, is letting us know Donta Foreman, SZN. I don't know what the SZN means.
Oh, season. Deontay Foreman season, baby. Yeah.
Oh, he's just okay. So it's common.
Yeah, because Deontay Foreman is the next guy up in Carolina. For anybody who doesn't know, like it's Chuba Hubbard was the guy last year, and he's still on the roster.
And Chuba's still going to get a lot of the
but
passing
they
down.
paid Deontay Foreman.
Yeah,
and then Chuba's a draft pick, and they paid Deontay Foreman as a free agent to get away from Tennessee.
Another question from Legacy Swift from YouTube. It's just Legacy. Swift, Amon-Ra, Walker, or Godwin start 2?
Walker, Godwin.
Walker for sure. And then
I'm sorry, Walker, Amon-Ra. Walker and Amon-Ra. Like Amon-Ra is kind of tough this week because they're playing Dallas. And it's
really.
Yeah.
And you'd be willing to start Amon-Ra there?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He's kind of tough. I want to start Amon-Ra over the other guys all the time, and then I was like,
in a vacuum,
yes, he's playing Dallas this week.
He's playing Dallas,
and
yes.
I do expect this is my personal belief. I do expect Godwin to score on Sunday. He's going to get a lot of targets, so I think this is a 20+ point game for Godwin this week. I would go with him and Walker.
Yeah, Godwin and Walker. I agree with those two for sure.
And that's it for questions thus far.
Great questions.
Yeah, man. Great questions.
So let's move on to our next game. We got Falcons at the Bengals.
The Dirty Birds are back.
They are winning dirty. That's for sure.
Yeah, so they played bully ball on Sunday against the 49ers. They did to the 49ers what the 49ers have been doing to people for the last couple of years, where they just ran the ball down their throats. They couldn't. They were converting 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. On the ground.
Let me read their line. Okay, so Falcons are at +6.5. The over/under is at 47. We actually have some questions I missed over on another YouTube. We'll get to that here in a second. +6.5, over/under at 47. +225 if you're betting on the Falcons, and +265 if you're betting on the Bengals. So let's get to Josh's question. Sorry, Josh, I didn't see you over there on that window. How is Michael Gallup at flex PPR this week with Dak back?
Love it, actually. Because everybody is assuming that CeeDee Lamb is just going to go nuclear because he's had such a huge target share to start the year. But he's never had that target share with Dak. Michael Gallup is Dak's guy. They've played together. This is their 5th year together. When Dak seems to need a 3rd and 10, that's where he goes. He goes to Michael Gallup. So I think, with Detroit being terrible, he's a really good start. He's a really good start this week. But then again,
thank you. I was like, I need to disagree a bit here because
has been erratic with the amount of targets that he gets. Like it's weird because he's not.
He can totally disappear.
He can, but he's not a game script dependent guy. So he'll get volume in spurts sometimes, but it's different now because there's no Amari.
Yeah.
So and then before Amari, like when Dak would get in trouble, like Amari was the guy that he would go to. Mm-hmm. And then it would be, Gallup over CeeDee Lamb. And CeeDee Lamb, like in his first few years, just didn't get a whole lot of, important targets. He just wasn't getting targeted on 3rd down very much. So I do think that Michael Gallup is going to have 8+ targets. I think that's where he's going to be.
Okay.
Every game. And when he gets 6 or more targets, he averages something like 13, 14 points a game in his career when he gets 6
going forward, I think I would agree with you. But this week I would be nervous
because they're going to be up.
Well,
there's that,
and I'm obviously way more worried about Dak than you are.
Oh, I'm not worried about Dak at all.
Well, I think you're wrong to not be worried about Dak. Like the rust alone,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, is going to be an issue. Does he have the grip strength? Does he have everything? To me, this is a perfect game for them coming back because they can afford some mistakes against them. You know what I mean? There's some room to play. But my guess is they're going to rely heavily on the running game this week and not try to put it on Dak's shoulders.
So,
because they don't need to
finish,
and second, I think it's like Dak needs to ease his way back. Like he was seriously hurt. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's just that Detroit is so bad. They've just been giving it up in every way possible. And he's gonna be a primary target for Dak. So he's gonna
I'm
get
just giving the cautionary tale.
Now,
I'm worried.
So I think he's a good flex start. I do. I think he's a good flex start this weekend.
And I would say you can start him as a flex, but I wouldn't be excited.
I also think he's a strong DFS play.
Wow. Now, I would not touch him in DFS. All right. So were there any others, or are we moving on?
I think we're all caught up there. So let me just reread this Atlanta and Bengals one here. Atlanta versus the Bengals +6.5. Over under is 47. If you're betting on Atlanta Falcons, that's 225. And if you're betting on the Bengals, -265. And go, fellas.
All right. Like I say, we talked a little bit about this, but Atlanta had a good win last week. They look good. They've been honestly looking surprisingly good on the year. They've looked like a tough team with not a lot of talent, but playing hard and playing well.
They don't beat themselves.
Yeah,
they're
well coached.
Yes,
they seem like
that's what's happening. Is there's bad teams because they're talent poor, and they just aren't well coached. They just aren't organized. Mm-hmm. This is a team that is talent poor but well organized.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing. They believe in what they're doing. They play hard. That being said, they're going to get smashed this weekend.
That being said, they're playing on the road in Cincinnati.
They're playing. They're playing at Cincinnati. They're a dome team going up north to play out in the cold.
And it's not too cold yet, so you don't have to worry about that too much. But
it's windy. It's always windy at home. Even the September games don't look comfortable in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So,
fantasy. So I'm taking Cincy. You're taking Cincy.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Cincy.
Yeah. There's I'll spoiler alert. There's a lot of high spreads on the games this week, so there might be a lot more agreement than usual. And we hate to do that, but when there's 7-point spreads with good reason, it's hard to argue.
Yeah, it is less entertaining when we just agree, for sure.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of fantasy stuff going on in this game.
So let's see. Cincy-wise, I think all the usual suspects. I don't think there's anything sneaky over there. Hayden Hurst, I think, is an iffy start. And Boyd only if you absolutely have to, but you could if you had to.
Let me bring up an interesting situation I have going on this weekend. I'm playing against an opponent that's 5-1. So he's doing pretty well, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he's like trolling me and he's going to make a swap tomorrow morning. But as of right now, he is starting Marcus Mariota over Patrick Mahomes.
He's trolling you. That's totally a troll.
He has to be, right? He's not going to do that,
No,
right?
We'll talk about that later, but I am very high on Mahomes this week. If he actually does that, I mean, that blows my mind.
Yeah, I'll be so happy if he does that.
Yeah, that's not happening.
But because I think this is a really bad week to play Mariota. Like if you're, but then again, it's entirely possible that he's believes that Mariota just did that to the 49ers.
Right.
And the Bengals rush defense.
You might be high on Mariota right now.
So the Bengals are missing a defensive tackle. I forget his name, but they're missing a defensive tackle. They've been missing it for the last 2 weeks, and their rush defense has all of a sudden become soft. So it's interesting. This is of the games that I'm confident. I'm smash picking this one side. This is the one where it's but I could see this. I could definitely see a scenario play out, where the Falcons are successful on the ground and the Bengals don't score right away, and then they're able to just start keying in on Joe Burrow because the Bengals have struggled, when they just have to pass.
So who are you confident in starting on the Atlanta side, though, fantasy-wise?
Confident starting on the Atlanta side?
You can start Ryan if you have to, but I wouldn't want to. Mariota.
Mariota?
Yeah.
I was like, who?
I was like, wait. Oh, right. Used to be.
I would not. I would not feel good about starting Mariota.
Oh, I would not either. But maybe
that feels awful.
You can if you had to. If you're in hell.
Because I just feel like they're going to be behind, and when he has to pass is when he turns the ball over.
Yeah. Pitts maybe.
You're going to play Pitts. You're not going to go to the waiver wire and play somebody over Pitts, especially after he scored against the 49ers.
Cotton or something.
Yeah. I like that.
All right, you guys, time is up. All right, moving on. Lions at the Cowboys.
Oh, one quick thing. I've said this before. Caleb Huntley is a name to remember. Mm-hmm. He looked really good against the 49ers last week. He's looked good so far.
Good is an overstatement.
With what I know, I like him. I think he looks good.
He looked like a bruiser that could just run forward and run into their offensive linemen, and I don't know. That's not what I saw, but
anyway,
all right.
He looked like the more effective of the Falcons running backs for sure
for what they were doing. Yeah,
and I think he could sneaky have a big day. No, we're done.
So Lions at the Cowboys. Lions plus 6.5 over under at 49. If you're betting on Lions plus 235, you're betting on the Cowboys minus 280. Go.
Let me just start and let you take over here. I mean, we've been talking a little bit about Dallas as we've gone here. I would be a little bit reluctant on the Dallas side just because I'm worried about how Dak is going to do there with his first week back. I do think they're going to rely heavily on the running game. I think Zeke is a smash play this week. I think Pollard is a decent play.
Welcome to Ezekiel Elliott season.
Yeah.
I hope you have him on your team. It's about to be fun.
Yeah, he's got 5 or 6 weeks of really good matchups.
It's about to be fun.
So I definitely like him. I'd be a little bit more reluctant on the pass catcher side, but I do think Dallas is going to smash. That defense is amazing. Detroit, even if Swift is back, gosh, I'd be reluctant to start him this first week back against Dallas. I would hope there's a better option there. And you don't want to start Goff, Amon-Ra. If you have options, I'd look around, but you're probably going to have to start Amon-Ra. But yeah, Dallas is going to look good in this game. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, so when we were talking about Michael Gallup as a flex play, my only hang-up is that I really do think the Cowboys are going to smash them so hard on the ground that there might not be enough opportunities through the air. That would be my only worry. I'd like one of those too for Dak. Jared Goff really struggles under pressure.
Yeah, thank you.
He really, really struggles under
I've been saying that all season.
Really, Ray?
yeah, Ray's been saying that for a long time. That was, I mean, that game against the Patriots was ugly. And the Patriots are not as good defensively as the Cowboys are.
Agreed. Yeah.
The Lions,
Especially talent-wise.
the Lions are one of the teams that the Cowboys don't have to worry about filling their stadium with and having to battle against, like, because the Cowboys have a similar problem, to the Rams,
Right.
Where they
Or
just
the
have,
Chargers.
They just have a lot of teams, like a lot of fans travel to their stadium.
It's a destination stadium.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. And I mean, for good reason. SoFi Stadium is beautiful, man. That place is awesome.
Well, I mean, even the Cowboys
But
stadium.
I haven't been there
is a-
yet. It's like, but yeah, SoFi is a destination stadium for sure.
So is the Cowboys win, though, is my
yeah,
point.
it's Jerry World for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's funny. They like at SoFi Stadium at the beginning. Or at some point they're talking at like the screen gives you a little information about itself, and it makes comparisons between it and other jumbotrons in the league. And
I love it.
yeah, it's pretty funny, and it brings up Jerry World. The impressive one was Atlanta, though. Atlanta had I didn't realize Atlanta had such a giant screen.
Huh.
Yeah, but yeah, millions of pixels in the SoFi Stadium.
I rarely have anything to say about these games, but the Cowboys are going to have the ball a lot more than Detroit Lions, which is going to influence your fantasy picks, I would assume.
Yeah, on the Detroit side, like I don't want to start Jared Goff. I really don't want to start either of the running backs because they're going to be behind.
Yep.
You have to start him on Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like he's not a flex player. He's not a number 2. He's a number 1. You start him. Like you're just gonna feel bad if you don't start him. I really like Josh Reynolds. I'm a believer in what Josh Reynolds is doing. He's just seems.
But this week?
Dude, did you see what he did in the Patriots game? He still put up numbers. He still scored 17 PPR points in that game. They got shut out.
Yeah.
They got shut out 26-0, and he still scored 17 points.
Right.
Start Josh Reynolds.
Well, and again, New England likes to take away your number 1, and Amon-Ra's number 1. They took him away.
Yep.
That's what was left. So I mean, a little bit skewed, but I agree. He's been better than
But
expected.
this is going to be
sure.
similar. Amon-Ra St. Brown and DeAndre Swift are going to be the focal points if he plays. And even over that, before you get to Josh Reynolds, I think you're probably going to focus on a guy like Hawkinson. So he just gets work, and he seems to be Goff's guy. When Goff gets in trouble or he's under pressure real fast, he throws the ball to Reynolds.
Yeah, it's been good so far.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
Are we all
that's
going
what
Cowboys in?
Yes.
Yeah, and on the Cowboys side, I don't have any. I mean, if you've been waiting for Dak to get back, you're starting Dak. Like, there's absolutely no streamer that I'm starting over Dak. Maybe Jimmy.
I was gonna say Garoppolo.
Maybe Jimmy, but I'd rather start Dak.
Okay.
So next game up, we have New York Giants at the Jags. Giants are at +3 with over under at 43.5. If you're betting on the Giants, they're at +40, and if you're betting on the Jags,
We write those last two games down,
minus 165. Go.
The Jaguars look like they're regressing a little bit. Trevor Lawrence, he was looking solid at the beginning of the year, and I don't know what happened, but in this Colts game, he looked very unsure of himself at times. And I think that if not for a couple of really big Travis Etienne plays, they would have lost this game, more handily. Like, the Colts had to come back and win it at the end. But I really do think that was just kind of because of a couple of busted plays. Like, they also gave up like a 60-yard touchdown on third and 1 or 4th and 1 or something like that to JaMychal Hasty. So I don't like the Jaguars right now. I don't, and that sucks because I they were trending at the beginning of the year. I was starting to like them, and I really don't want to I never want to pick the Giants.
I know that, but at this point,
And
you're picking them until they fall apart.
nope, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna pick the Jaguars.
Ooh, a standalone game, I think.
Nope.
You're picking the Jags too?
I'm on the Jags this week.
Oh, I'm going Giants.
Yeah.
I get to be the standalone.
So we're
team.
both gonna vote that the trends end.
Yeah,
because the Giants are on their 3-game winning streak and the Jaguars are on a 3-game losing streak.
Right. And I feel like the Giants have just been doing it on smoke and mirrors, and good on them.
Agreed.
Good coaching, like they're getting it done. And,
A lot
and
like
it
the
could go
Falcons.
the other way.
It's a lot like
Right,
the Falcons.
right.
Yeah. But they've had a better schedule than
But
the
they're
Falcons.
under talented. They just don't have the
Agreed.
talent where they need it. And Jacksonville, like they've lost 3 in a row.
They play hard though.
But they are playing hard, and I think they're putting something together. I don't know. To me, at home, two pretty fairly evenly matched teams. I would honestly say, and Jacksonville's at
And
home. I gotta
also,
go Jacksonville.
and Doug Peterson has a lot of knowledge about the Giants,
Yeah, true.
having been the coach of the Eagles for so long. So there's a lot of guys that are still on the team that he's familiar coaching against.
Yeah.
So
Did you guys go over your
there's that.
fantasy
There's a
starts
Bit
and
of an
sits?
advantage there. Not yet.
Okay.
I'm fading on Christian Kirk, dude. Like we talked. I think we talked about this last week. I think I asked you specifically, like, where are you at on Christian Kirk? Like, are you still starting him? And that's where we ended up. Was like, okay, so Christian Kirk is on your roster. Like, you're locking him in. You're still.
Well,
He's your
and I think
wide
last
receiver
week
two.
we were okay. He's a good wide receiver, 3-ish.
I think it was two.
think
I think we
it's
said
3.
two. I'd have to go back and listen, but I'm pretty sure it was
but
2.
now,
I'm pretty
like-
sure we were like in 10-team leagues.
Low end 2.
Yes. So.
Low end 2, high end 3 last week, and now you're looking at him as low end 3, maybe high end.
I know,
flex.
right?
I mean, yeah.
How things change so
but
fast.
you're still probably starting him, but yeah, you're not feeling as great about it. I think there's better things to come. I think he's going to have a decent year overall, but yeah, he's definitely hit his low.
He looks to me like what it seems like happened was that he caught people off guard at the beginning of the year.
And now people are ready for him.
Yeah, that like they didn't at the beginning of the year, people didn't expect that they were going to have offense drawn up for Christian Kirk. And now you have defenses that are like, okay, stop 13. We'll stop it. We'll stop him. Now do something else.
So let's see if the Jags coaching staff's any good. Honestly,
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
And you know what? Doug Peterson was really good at beating the Giants when he was the Eagles coach. So
And we're running out of time, but ETN is starting to look really good, starting to
He
take
looks
over
amazing.
the workload.
I think
definitely want to start ETN.
I banged the drum about 2 weeks ago. I think
Yeah.
it was. I was like, get Travis Etienne, like get off of James Robinson, get into Travis Etienne. It's happening. He
definitely happened.
He looked awesome against the Colts. Awesome. Like
And
it
Giants
is
start
night and
Barkley.
day. Night and
Anybody
day
else?
difference talent wise between Etienne and James Robinson, physical wise. James Robinson's a smart runner though.
Yeah.
He's really good. He
So
is really good.
So that's the end of the round of the Giants versus the Jags games, and we do have a question. So
Excellent.
we'll sneak that question in between our rounds. Half PPR. This is coming in from Facebook.
Oh, real quick, just to end the Giants thing, Wan'Dale Robinson, like anybody who's like needing receivers and stuff like that, Wan'Dale Robinson is available in a lot of leagues. He's about to happen. That's gonna happen now.
Okay.
Half PPR. Waddle or Pittman starting Jonathan Taylor, if that makes a difference. Thanks.
Oh yeah,
It actually does make a difference because with Pittman there, like having to start both is it's one of those.
You know
plays
what?
Where if you're going for the floor, like okay, like they're both going to have decent games. Like those are two good players. but
Waddle is
you're trying to hit a
Waddle's
ceiling.
top 5 in receiving yards so far this season.
but he's going against the Steelers.
He has, yeah, the worst team in the league against receivers. They're actually 30th, but anyway.
and our secondary is still
Waddle
very hurt.
is top 5 in receiving yards. He does have those 2 duds though, so that's that gives you pause. But I think his ceiling is so much higher than Pittman's. Just
I don't know about. I mean, look at Pittman last week. I mean, that was a pretty nice ceiling last week. You know what I mean?
he had a nice game.
Yeah, and if he's really the focal point, he can have some really nice games, and so will Waddle.
But I mean, but here's the thing: is Matt Ryan threw the ball 57 times last week, and Michael Pittman scored what 22 points.
I think it was more like 27, 28, but
I think
I'd have to look it up for sure.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, you know what? It was 26. Yeah, 13 catches for 130 yards. That's right.
Okay.
That's right. It was 13 catches, 130 something yards. This was like 26 points.
Okay, so he didn't, and that's without getting in the end.
Without that's without scoring. But that's the thing is I don't think he's a 2 touchdown guy.
Oh man. Okay. Like I say, I think that's close.
And I think that for me that it's not Michael Pittman that has more to do with Matt Ryan. That's just like Matt Ryan's just never done that with any of his receivers. His like they just don't do it. They don't. He doesn't have his receivers don't have lines like that. Like his number ones typically don't.
Julio didn't have.
Not touchdown wise. Look at him. He didn't score touchdowns.
I know he was
Julio
more of a
did it
6-7 touchdowns.
He did it with
a year
yards.
guy,
Julio did it
yeah.
with yards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He only had 6 or 7 a year.
He was a non-PPR darling, but it was never really like catches and touchdowns. It was yards. He had a lot of games where he was like 9 for 180.
Right. But anyway, back to the question. All that to say that I probably agree with Ken, and I'd go with Waddle there. And my big reason is because
sorry about the
you have
digression,
JT on your team. With JT on your team, I think with it being close between Pittman and Waddle, you have to go.
So
with
what I
Waddle.
was going to say though is super interesting. Is like if it was possible, wouldn't you rather start Waddle and Pittman?
Yeah, that's true. Like, who is he? Like, man, that's a good team if that's your choice.
No,
huh?
but no. But I mean, what I'm saying is like he's got Taylor, Pittman, and Waddle, right, on the same team. Of the three, like if you're starting 2 of the 3 guys, wouldn't you choose to start Waddle and Pittman first?
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, but
If we're talking week 1,
right.
no, start Jonathan Taylor
Well,
first.
I'm talking more running back, wide receiver. That's why.
Yeah, no, I know. You
But I
think
get
you
it,
just
yeah.
assume that like he's locked into starting his running back like Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
But if he was able to move Jonathan Taylor out of that and start somebody who whatever.
It would depend on your options for
Yes. You would want to start Waddle and Pittman and not Taylor if you could. I think this weekend is what we're saying. So if that's possible, that's what we would do. But that being if it's
sure. Probably not possible though.
probably not possible, and if it's not, Waddle over Pittman.
Yep.
Okay, so moving on to the next game. That's the end of that question, and we don't have any other follow-up questions. So the next game on deck is Colts at the Titans. Colts are at +2.5. The over/under at 41.5 and +115 if you're voting on the Colts. If you're different podcast. If you're betting on the Colts, and if you're betting on the Titans, -135. You guys got about 2 seconds before the round starts.
All right. Well, in this one, I think this is going to be a Derrick Henry game. Like, that's what it feels like to me. It feels like Tennessee.
I agree. I feel like it's Derrick Henry versus the Colts passing attack. That's how I see it.
Yeah. And what's the injury that JT is coming off of?
I honestly don't. It's something to do with his foot. But I don't know.
But
really.
that's any kind of a foot, ankle, knee. Like, man, that makes me nervous the first week coming back for running back.
I'm with you. And like for me, it's more than just that though. It's also that they might have just had a paradigm shift in their offense, because last year their offense was all about Jonathan Taylor all the time, and now like this year they're throwing the ball more, and especially since he's been hurt,
Right.
and they're scoring points. And they might not want to just go back to giving him the ball 25 times.
I think that's what they want to do. I think that's like, if they have their choice, that's what they want to do. But they feel like they've been forced to do other things lately.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't want to just break him down again. That's all I'm saying. Is they might be they
But
might,
you still want to get him the ball 22 times a game.
and also Deion Jackson looked good, so they
I guess.
so they might spell him more. That's all I'm saying. He might get less work.
This week, but I don't know if that's true in the future. I think JT is going to be the back. But here, I mean, for this week,
see.
Tennessee, I'm picking them. Like I say, I think Henry is going to roll. Gosh, but the funny thing is like receiving wise, who do you start from Tennessee?
Nobody.
Anybody? Yeah.
No.
Like
No.
no tight end,
Derrick
no
Henry.
receivers. Yeah, I guess it's got to be Derrick Henry, huh? Because my God, what are the choices?
Can you start Derrick Henry twice?
Please.
No, that's it. You start Derrick Henry on the Tennessee side, and that's it. And then on the Colts side, like I think Matt Ryan's playable. Like if you're looking for a streaming quarterback, I think I probably started him in at least one of my leagues because he's just throwing the ball so much. And Tennessee has given up passing yards. They've given up 300 yards 4 straight weeks. So I think that's going to happen again. I think the Colts are going to be behind. I think they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. I think they're going to have success doing it. So I think this is like a monster Derrick Henry game. Like this is one of those like games where he pushes 40 points. And I think that this is a good game for Matt Ryan, Alec Pierce, and Michael Pittman on the other side. I just don't know about Jonathan Taylor. I just don't know because I just assume they're going to be behind. And then I don't know what they're going to do.
But just saying, if you've got JT on your team,
You start him.
You're starting
Yeah,
him.
you're
You know, you kind of have to. So
Don't get cute.
yeah.
So you guys, are we all picking Titans?
Wow, really? Yeah, I guess so.
I think so. I don't feel great about it.
Are you guys ready to move on to the
Yeah,
next
I
game?
think we're ready, man. That was a quick one.
Yeah, I don't see anybody. Yeah,
It's
asking
AFC
questions.
South. Those AFC South games just
Yeah.
kind of stink.
Yeah, like how many fantasy options are involved? You know what I mean? It's just like, well, it's kind of Henry and JT and maybe Pittman. And moving on.
And I mean, the Colts have been playing a 38-year-old quarterback in his last year.
Yeah.
For
for
like
4 years in a row.
Did you see the thing on social media? No, you don't.
No,
watch
I
it.
don't do social
Okay,
media.
so there was something on social media that outlined the Colts starting quarterbacks from now until like 2028.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was so good. The last one's like Russell Wilson. It's so funny because it's just a line of guys who are
Yep.
going to retire over the next several years.
It's gonna work someday.
It's really funny.
So next game up, we have the Packers at the Washington
I'm
Commanders.
super excited to watch this game.
Packers are at -4.5 with the over under at 41.5. If you're betting on the Packers, you're at -2.5 or 205. And if you're betting on the Commanders, +175. Go guys!
So here's why I'm excited to watch this game. Like we talked earlier, like this is like for this week for Tom Brady. This has got like if they don't do it this week, like you're worried, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Same thing for the Packers.
I agree.
And
Oh, very good point. I haven't
I-
thought, I hadn't thought
Well,
about that.
honestly,
me, like-
Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers
tired-
have been on a very similar line this year. They're just kind of like, okay, well, are they as good?
they are though. That's the thing. Though is
They're
when
very
you
similar
when
line.
you watch Tom, like if you just watch Tom Brady and you just watch Aaron Rodgers, they still look like themselves.
Yes.
It's what's going on around them
Yep.
that is preventing them from putting up the points that we're used to.
Completely
So
agree.
it's not like we have a Peyton Manning situation like in 2015 where it's like get him the hell out of there. No, they still look fantastic.
Agreed.
So I still believe in both of them to start putting up the numbers. I feel like the offensive line in Tampa is gonna. I think they're gonna figure out enough. I think it only takes so many times of Tom Brady yelling at you before you remember.
No, not Tom.
And then, funny thing too. I was real quick blurb. I was playing some Madden today, and I was and it put me, and I had just downloaded it onto my girlfriend's Xbox, so it put me in like and this is like last year's Madden, so it was KC versus Tampa Bay, the Super Bowl, and after you score touchdowns with Tampa Bay, they go over to the sideline and everybody's giving high fives and stuff, and Tom Brady's just doing this, looking for a high five. And no one gives him a high five.
Oh man,
Yeah, it's so funny, so funny. But anyway, yeah. So and with Aaron Rodgers, I think that his receivers are talented. Like from what I've seen from them, I like them. I think they're talented. I do think they're going to get it figured out. I think the answer for them is going to be Aaron Jones in the short term. They're gonna get the ball to Aaron Jones more, and I think that will fix things.
We thought that at the beginning of the season, though. Like at week
I know,
one,
I know,
that was
so
my thing.
I
is
know,
they're
but
gonna
here-
lean on Aaron
but
Jones,
here
and they just haven't.
But things, hey, every year teams go through changes, and sometimes it takes a little while for them to like work things out and get rolling. It seemed like for a few years, almost every year, the Patriots would have like a bunch of new like weapons around Brady. It would be like Brady, Edelman, Gronk, and then like just guys.
Right.
And so it would take them a few weeks before they started rolling. And like in the Moss years, they smashed people. But after the Moss years, it would take them a few weeks before their offense would really start to click and they'd start to demolish people.
And we're running out of time, and I get what you're saying.
So I think that's so. Here, all I'm saying, I'm not saying I'm guaranteeing that's going to happen. I'm saying we're at a put up or shut up point. That's what I'm saying for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. So
and I think they will put up.
I don't think there's
but
too
I don't
much
think they're
to
going
talk
to put
about
up
from
great fantasy numbers.
I think he will. I think that there is enough talent there that they will get it figured out, and they will do that
this week.
This has to be the week. Washington is so bad against the pass that this has to be the week. I think this is a big Aaron Jones game. Like, there's no way I would leave Aaron Jones on my bench anywhere this weekend. And then Allen Lazard. Those are the two pieces that I really, really, really want to start if I have them anywhere.
Okay, and Washington's side, I'll just I'm the
Terry
who's he
McLaurin
guy.
start?
I'm the McLaurin guy, I will say. And he has been very disappointing this year. He's been very average and pedestrian where we thought he was going to be a star, or at least I did.
I have him
but
on my regular
I will
board, dude.
say that with Heineke coming in this week, I feel a little bit better than most people because he has had the experience of hyper-targeting McLaurin. I think he will give McLaurin a few more looks this week. And so...
You're picking the Commanders.
I'll tell you, I want to pick the Commanders. Like it's very, very close for me. But no, I mean, you have to take the Packers there.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Packers too.
Okay, next up we have Jets at the Broncos.
Yes, my Jets.
So Jets are -2 with the over-under of 37. I think it's going to be way over. And a -125 if you're betting on the Jets. And
That's
plus
interesting. You think it's going to be way over, huh?
Yes, and plus 105 on the Broncos. You want me?
That's
Russell,
super interesting because to me this is the game that looks like it's 16-7.
Okay.
On the
Do you want me to elaborate? Or
please, absolutely.
It's really, you know what it is? It's just the Broncos haven't been able to do anything on offense all season long. And the Jets have proven that they can get their offense rolling. And so, did I hear something about I don't know, something was going on with Russell Wilson this week too.
He's out.
He's out.
He's out. Okay, I wasn't sure if
ripping, baby.
So he's out too. So
actually that actually makes me less likely to want to play the Jets.
All right, and go.
Defense. Seriously though, no Russell Wilson could possibly be a benefit to the Broncos offense if he's actually as injured.
It will be nice to see what Rippon looks like behind that line and what's going on.
We've seen this before.
What's that?
He started against the Jets last year on Thursday Night Football.
Did he really?
Yes.
And how'd he do?
Jerry Jeudy had a 50-yard touchdown in that game.
I'll see.
That was the highlight of Jerry Judy's career.
Start Jerry Jeudy.
Yes. I think that might have even been year before last year, honestly. But I know Brett Rippon has started for the Broncos against the Jets, and Jerry Jeudy scored a 50-yard touchdown. That did happen, and it was in prime time.
And I will say, like, if Rippon comes in here and he throws for like 260 and 2 touchdowns, everyone's going to be like, what is going on with Russell Wilson? Like, what is up with Russ?
I almost kind of want it to happen now.
Right? You know what I mean? Just for those questions.
Like, and think of the memes too. Like how because the internet's mean.
What?
So if Brett so Brett Rippon goes out there and throws 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, and they win the game, the memes are going to be epic. Like how much does Brett Rippon make? I kind of want to know that.
Stay off the internet, Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
You don't want to see what's out there.
You don't want none of this, do we?
Sit him, start him.
So one of the things we should talk about is like Elijah Moore is on the outs as a Jet.
Right. Which is, and he's
It's
sitting
so
this week,
crazy.
so funny going into this year looked very promising. And the other big storyline on the other side is Melvin Gordon.
Elijah Moore was the only Jets receiver that got drafted this year going in draft season.
Yeah.
Like in redraft, no one was taking a flyer on Garrett Wilson. No one was drafting Corey Davis. it was Elijah Moore. You expected Elijah Moore to do something. It was like maybe Garrett Wilson because he's got draft capital, but like maybe, but by the end of the year he'll be overtaking him or something like that. And it's just he's been nowhere to be found. And like, if they were losing, I think people would be asking, why aren't you getting the ball to Elijah Moore? But they've won 3 consecutive games.
On their defense.
They beat the Packers in Green Bay. Like,
Their defense is looking great, and their offense is doing just enough.
Their offense is not inept. Their offense, like,
it's funny because it seems more inept with Zach Wilson in there. But
honestly, you know what it seems like to me is that it just seems like they're asking him to do less.
Yeah.
And
that's on purpose because he's proven he can't do more.
I disagree. I like him. He looks good to me.
Elijah Moore would disagree with you, sir.
Well, Elijah Moore disagreed enough to get himself sent home this week, and get himself told to stay home this week.
Before we run out of time, like, we have to talk about Melvin Gordon here. Like, what the heck?
I told you.
What?
I told you.
Told me? Well,
I told everybody, stay away from Denver. Like, the Denver want no part of the Denver running game. Like, what I said was,
but going into this year, we wanted a piece.
I know. But when Javonte went down, if the Broncos had been scoring points, I would have been interested in the next man up. But they were struggling with Javonte. So they were struggling with Javonte. Melvin Gordon was fumbling the ball every 4th or 5th time he touched it. And they brought in 32-year-old Latavius Murray as soon as Javonte got hurt.
Right.
So when they did that, I was like, I want out. I want no part of this.
So fantasy-wise...
You guys need a timeout?
Yeah, real quick, we do on this one. Okay. So fantasy-wise, what do you do? Like, if you're looking for running backs...
Stay away from Denver.
I just, like, there's going to be something good out of Denver on the running back side. You don't think there's going to be anything that's start-worthy there?
No, because what they're doing right now. Melvin Gordon's their first and second down back.
But last week he got 3 carries.
I know. That's because he's in the doghouse right now.
I guess.
Melvin Gordon is their first and second down back. Mike Boone's their third down back, and Latavius Murray is their short yardage back. Which one do you want?
And if that's the way they go, you're right. We want none of them.
None of them. That is what it is.
You don't know that at all. Like, that's why I'm bringing this up, is because
that's why they brought Latavius Murray in, dude. They brought Latavius Murray in because Melvin Gordon couldn't hold on to the football, and in high pressure situations, they want someone who can hold on to the football. That's why they brought him in.
And last week, you look absolutely correct. And then this week, they're the way they're talking, and like I said, it could just be coach speak. It could be
I told you
else.
he was going to get that work,
but
and you were like
talking about
you were totally off Latavius Murray last week
for sure.
And what happened? He got all the work, and I told you that was going to happen. I told you.
and maybe you're a genius, but I don't know about this one. Like, but like, look how they're talking this week. This week they're all Melvin Gordon's the starter.
I don't care.
Gordon's
Their
the guy.
offense is garbage.
Oh.
I don't care. Like at this point, the only Broncos player I want to start is Cortland Sutton. That's it. And I don't even want to start him this week.
Not this week.
Because he gets Brett Rippon as quarterback.
Yep.
I don't even want to start him this week. I'd rather start Jerry Jeudy because they have history.
Yep.
Time in.
So yeah, time in. So there's
that needed to be talked about.
So there's nobody from the Broncos that you are excited to start right now. Nobody. Yep. And you shouldn't. And I would not be rostering any Broncos running back.
And start the Jets D.
Yeah.
So we all picking Jets.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, Jets, Jets, baby. Oh,
all right. So next game is Texans at the Raiders. Houston Texans plus 6.5. Over under at 46. If you're betting on the Texans, that's plus 235. And if you're betting on the Raiders, that's minus 280.
I actually think the Raiders are just going to blow them out this week.
I'm kind of leaning that way
because the Raiders are 1-4, but they could easily be 4-1.
Yeah, and they were expected to be good coming into this year.
They have been good. They've been competitive. Like all their losses,
record-wise. Yeah. No, I agree with you there. And I'm just saying. They're at home. They're against Houston, which is floundering. I mean, yeah, everyone thinks that the Raiders are going to win. It's just a matter of where all the fantasy points are going to go, and everybody's on Josh Jacobs.
That's where they're going to go.
And are we all on Raiders?
And Waller's out. Yeah. Waller's out, so Foster Moreau we brought up earlier. So if you're looking for a tight end, Foster Moreau is definitely somebody you can start.
Absolutely.
And somebody that's definitely out there on your waiver wire.
Yep.
Throw him in there. He's going to get 4 or 5 catches at
So
least, and
I
you
said
never know,
earlier
maybe a touchdown.
that if Mark Andrews didn't play tomorrow, that I would just pick up Isaiah Likely and start him. Similar situation in Las Vegas. They have a tight end that they really like behind Darren Waller, and they like him enough that he'll get similar work. Mm-hmm. So if I'm the Darren Waller manager, that's what I would do.
And honestly, if I was either manager, that's what I would do, is go with Foster Moreau, because Moreau has proven that when he comes in, he's going to get work, whereas Likely has not proven that yet. He might, but we don't know for sure. We're speculating. Whereas Moreau
gotten some
has
work
done it
while
again
playing
and again.
alongside Mark Andrews. They
but-
like him a lot, and like he was so.
And he's a
so
rookie,
now,
right?
So Brian
Rookie
doesn't.
tight ends,
Now Brian doesn't
just
watch
saying.
preseason football at all.
Proud of it.
I do,
I like the
and
tryouts.
it's why I knew about players like Dameon Pierce, and it's also why I know about guys like Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely is a freak talent. He's really, 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 really good.
And he's still a rookie
And
tight end.
in the preseason, he had an 8-catch, 100-yard touchdown game. In the preseason. That's hard to do. That's hard to do because you just don't get time. You don't get any time to play. It's
But
like,
it also means a lot less in the preseason. I'm just saying.
sure it means less, but it's still hard to do, dude. It's hard to do.
And
Those-
it shows he has some talent.
He's
I will
got
agree
like,
with
he's
you
got
there.
talent, and also it doesn't just show that he has talent. Getting that many targets, and that like targets they say are an earned statistic.
Right.
He gets open, and they wanted to get him the ball. So I think if Mark Andrews misses time, they're going to take the opportunity to get him the ball because they like him.
Okay, but out of the two, even you would admit that Foster is the floor player.
I would rather start Isaiah Likely.
Oh man,
They like him that much, and so another.
I think we need to go Foster versus Likely.
if that happens,
Let's do it.
yeah, seriously, I like it. Now hold on. If Mark Andrews doesn't play,
No caveats.
No, that's a good one.
no caveats. He
No
just gets a
caveats.
starting tight end versus my backup tight end.
No
Sure,
caveat.
why don't I just take a shot now?
Okay, so there is a caveat in this bet.
If Mark Andrews doesn't play, Isaiah Likely. I'm saying Isaiah Likely scores more points than Foster Moreau, so the reason I really believe that isn't just because like we've seen Foster Moreau produce before, not while Devontae Adams was on the roster. So that's the part that I worry about is Darren Waller himself hasn't produced the way that Darren Waller normally produces. So I don't have the same confidence that Fabian Moreau
Wrap it up.
is going to do the same thing, or is going to be able to do what Darren Waller hasn't
All
been
right,
able to do.
and talk a little bit about any Houston prospects for fantasy.
Nope.
And then I'm
Done.
going to write some stuff up here.
We're done. Like you're going to start Brandon Cooks because they're going to be down in this game, so he should get a lot of targets. Dameon Pierce has been awesome, so you're going to start Dameon Pierce. But I honestly think this is a game where you're a little worried about how much work he's going to get. I'm less worried because they got smashed by the Chargers earlier this year. They were down 1.24-3 in the game, and they still kept giving him the ball. So you're still starting Dameon Pierce for sure.
So next up we have Seahawks at the Chargers. Seahawks are at plus 4.5 with the over under of 50.5. If you're betting on the Seahawks, plus 180. If you're betting on the Chargers, minus 210. Go.
Along the lines of Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, I'm waiting for Justin Herbert to have a game. Like I'm waiting for that 350-yard, 3-4 touchdown game because he hasn't had one yet this year. We don't know if Keenan Allen's going to play or not yet. We know that Josh Kelly is out. So Sony Michel, if you're still looking to handcuff Austin Eckler, Sony Michel becomes more valuable. Josh Palmer is also not going to play. So if Keenan Allen doesn't play, then Mike Williams is like the only guy he has to throw the ball to, and I think that Gerald Everett becomes a really good play at tight end.
Everett. I love Everett this week.
I do too, and Seattle struggles against tight end in general, so I like Everett this weekend. On the other side, man, it is just fun to play Ken Walker right now, right?
Oh, yes.
It's exciting times to have Ken Walker on your roster.
3 out of my 4 leagues. I love him so much. But yeah, no, this is definitely a smash play for him this week. And the big reason is because he catches the ball as well. I mean, if he was just the banger, we might have a bit of a problem here this week, because I do think the Chargers are going to get a big lead and really kill him this week. But I think Walker is going to have some nice numbers because he's going to be their main weapon. He's going to be catching those dump-off passes. He's going to be running up the middle because what they want to do is run. Whether they're winning or losing, it doesn't matter.
He's going to get the ball a lot.
Yeah, he's going to get 20-plus touches. Whether they're winning, losing, doesn't matter.
They might not have Tyler Lockett
him.
for this game. Tyler Lockett might be out, so I think DK Metcalf becomes even more of a smash play than he typically is. And I think DK Metcalf is going to have an awesome game.
And I just want to say I'm so mad at Lockett. Well, no, you know what? No, I'm so mad at myself last week.
I told you not to.
I knew he had that hamstring, dude, but it was so brief, and he came off full practice. All these things, I was just like, oh, everything told me not to start him. But then I started listening to the talking heads, and and one of my buddies at work who's really into football, I was just like really, really into football, and I was just like, all right, dude, what do you think about Lockett? And he's like, oh no, he's good this week, and went against my instincts, and man, did I regret it, because so do not play Lockett this week. The hamstring is just
give him a couple weeks.
It's just a big deal. If he's out there, he's more of a decoy than anything else.
But DK,
DK is going to be good. Yes,
he's been
DK
monstrous.
is going to be good. Yep, and Gino, yeah, I definitely.
So
I feel like this is going to be one of those higher scoring games. This is one of those DFS wise, like I want some pieces in here.
I think it could be, but I also kind of see the Chargers being able to slow them down, and also the Chargers themselves have not been great offensively, so I wonder. I do wonder if this doesn't end up like that game last week, because we thought that the Cardinals and the Seahawks were going to put up a bunch of points, and then we got 19-9.
Yeah, crushed me in my tournament lineups.
Yeah,
yes.
So
You guys,
I could definitely see a similar situation where neither team is really able to score on the other one. Yeah. And we both kind of expect them to, because their defenses aren't performing at an elite level.
I expect the over, and I think the Chargers are going to smash Herbert. Like you said at the beginning, this is his get-right game.
I think
he's
so,
going
too.
to be good.
So, yeah. I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Don't forget to follow us. We're on YouTube and Facebook, Fantasy Football Theories. And we're also on all the podcast platforms you guys are probably listening in on, as far as Spotify and iTunes and some of the other more prominent ones. Next up, we have, who we all picked? Did we all pick in Chargers on that game?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I already marked it up there before we started talking about it. I was like, we all got to be taking the Chargers here.
Okay. So next up, we got Kansas City at 49ers -1. If you're -1 Chiefs, over under of 49, and -120 if you're betting on the Chiefs. If you're betting on the 49ers, +100. Go ahead, Brian. Take it away.
All right. Well, I like taking it away on this one, because this is my gridiron guarantee of the week. This is my guarantee. Kansas City is going to beat San Francisco.
I hope you're right.
Here's the deal. San Francisco, while they are at home, and while they do have a great defense, their defense is hurt, and it's hurt bad. And it was evidenced last week when Atlanta just absolutely crushed that defense. They aren't getting many pieces back, if any, of this week. San Francisco is going to be in big trouble, and Patrick Mahomes is going to pick apart that defense. I think it's going to be ugly. We've got the big CMC trade going on here and all that, but I just don't think it's going to be relevant this week. I think it's going to be incredibly relevant the rest of the year. But this week, there's just not enough time to really get him acclimated to this offense. And I just saying it again one more time, Mahomes is going to smash. Now, Kelsey is also a smash play. The problem is who else do you play on the Chiefs side? And your best choice there, other than Kelsey, is probably Juju. But man, it's a little nervous once it gets past Kelsey, because you just don't know. He spreads the ball around so much, you just don't know where he's going to go with it. So, just a little bit of a preview here. Like, I like Mahomes with either a Kelsey stack in DFS or even lone wolfing him, just putting him out there on his own. He is going to be great. Niners side, I'm going to stay away from all the running backs this week. I mean, if you have to pick one, I'd pick Jeff Wilson. But, man, I would not want to do that. And then
You'd still pick Jeff Wilson over CMC?
This week, yes.
I wouldn't do that.
I would. That's not one I'd want to put on the board, but if it's my lineup that you're looking at, yeah, I'd go with Jeff Wilson in the guaranteed points this week. And from San Francisco, I think Jimmy Garoppolo, like, they are going to be behind because I think that the Kansas City's going to have a good offensive day. So they're going to be behind, so Garoppolo is going to have to pass, and that passing defense for Kansas City is not very good. I expect a big day from Debo, maybe even Ayuk, maybe even Kittle.
Definitely Jimmy, though.
But yeah, Jimmy I really like this week.
Because we expect him to be behind and have to throw the ball.
Absolutely.
What do you got?
I'm going to take the Niners.
What?
Yep.
Wow. So if you just listen to what I just was talking about for the last 2 minutes, ignore all that and listen to Ken because he's just going to take the Niners.
Ken's got a lone wolf game on the board.
Yeah, and I get to. My girlfriend's going to love me.
I see. He's just making friends with the wife when he gets home. I understand.
Hey,
wife must be listening.
They're home. They're coming off a loss. Like the 49ers, they just kind of. These are those games that they just kind of win under Shanahan. They tend to win these games, and it's the first half of the season when you can steal wins off of the Chiefs because it's usually sometime around week 8, week 9 where they just go on a run and they stop losing. And I think the Chiefs have done that, like 4 or 5 consecutive years where they just go on a run and have a really big winning streak going into the playoffs. With the exception
that is definitely a trend.
With the exception of seasons where they've given up on week 17 and 18. Because that's happened a couple of times.
So next up we got Pittsburgh at the Dolphins. Pittsburgh is at plus 7.5 with minus 115. I'm sorry, no, not minus 115. That's a different line. Over under is at 45, plus 270 if you're betting on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and minus 325 if you're betting on the Dolphins.
And here comes Brian's lone wolf game.
All right, and here we go. Like the Steelers last week should have got smashed, and they came out and they played hard. They were well coached.
They had a plan.
They had a plan, and it worked.
Yep.
Will we do that again this week? We are still banged up. We do still have Mika. I'm not sure if Mika Fitzpatrick is going to play or not. Like it's iffy. Of course, TJ is still out. We've got a couple other secondary pieces still out. So it looks rough against that great.
And now you have to. But
those great receivers. Like that, it looks rough.
And it doesn't get any easier this week. Yeah,
I agree
with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle.
They are great receivers, and Tua gets to come back this week. So I agree that's rough, but I'm taking the Steelers. I mean, come on,
dude.
we kicked butt on Tom Brady last week.
I hope you never ever.
They're gonna
bet against your own team again.
It takes a lot, brother. It takes a lot.
But this is the 50th anniversary of the undefeated team.
Oh, give me a break.
They're honoring the 50th. They're honoring the 72 Dolphins at halftime of this game.
Are they?
Yeah. It's Dolphins night, bro.
Okay.
I still like that. Wouldn't influence.
No, me either.
Like if I was on the fence.
No, teams lose those games all the time.
Yeah.
So fantasy
wise, Steelers side, Harris.
Things are getting weird for Najee though, right?
Yeah, Najee. I think you have to start.
The usage is going down. That's the thing that's worrying me.
Well, it's going down because he's hurt. He's
I know
got that foot issue.
I know, but that worries me.
I agree. I've got Najee in a few places, and I'm definitely worried. I think he's going to be better second half of the year, But right now, Jalen Warren isn't going to be taking a lot of his snaps. He is taking some.
Third down.
He is
He's been taking third downs.
No, and he is taking some. And as a Steeler
Those
fan,
are important because those are the little catches for 3 or 4 or 5
like I say,
yards.
as a Steeler fan, I almost wish that Warren was in there a little bit more often right
he's
now
effective.
because Najee right now, like he's showing the pain. He's showing that he's hurt. And
Yeah, he
it's
doesn't look like
showing
himself.
on the field. Absolutely. But as far as what you got to start, you're definitely going to start him this week. He could have a couple of touchdowns. He could, you know what I mean? You never know, but it's a good enough start that you're going to go with it. You can't start a quarterback on our side. Not yet. I mean, Pickett maybe someday in the future,
Kenny
but
lives.
he's not there yet. If you're really desperate, you can start Pickens, just
that's
because he's
desperate.
hyper targeted by Pickett, and Pickett looks like he's starting.
I'd start Deontay. You start Deontay.
Deontay, I think you have to start,
yeah,
and
'cause
I
you're
think
gonna
he's going to have decent floor points.
think so.
But you can't expect a ceiling game. Well, unless they fall behind. You know,
what I'm going to say? He's due.
yeah. I don't know. He subscribed to the he's due philosophy, but Dolphins side, those receivers look great. Tua, like I say, he's only been out with the concussion, and that as we discussed last week, coming off a concussion, usually players do really well. So I love all them. Let's see, running back is really the only question on Miami's side. You're definitely not gonna start Chase Edmonds.
Oh no, no. Chase Edmonds he's
Honey
become,
Mostert?
He's become a handcuff.
Honey Mostert, I think you'd start in a flex, and you'd start as an RB2 if you really had to.
Yeah,
But
bye weeks happening.
But yeah, you wouldn't really love
if
it,
you're-
but you could.
because Dalvin Cook's not playing. There's no Darrell Henderson this
Yeah,
week.
yeah, bye weeks for sure hurt you.
Yeah.
So, did you have anything to add real quick? I know that was mostly me there, but
Dolphins gonna smash.
what figure am I holding up?
I don't know which one is that.
yeah. You're number one.
I'm number 1. All right.
Ooh, okay, so now we're entering Monday night, October 24th. We have the Bears at the Patriots.
Game of the week. Game of the week.
Bears at plus
Actually,
8.
this is a really awesome game.
Explain.
Let me finish this and then you explain.
sorry.
So Bears are at plus 8, over under at 40, with the money line at plus 280 if you're betting on the Bears, and minus 340 if you're betting on the Patriots. Go.
So, the all-time leader
Explain that.
The all-time leader in wins for coaching is still George Halas, who coached the Chicago Bears once upon a time. The scheduling gods put this game together, hoping that they might like put this game on prime time, hoping that they might have Bill Belichick passing George Halas for all-time wins,
Okay.
and they got it.
Oh, is that okay?
If the Patriots win this game, Bill Belichick becomes the leader in all-time wins as a head coach.
Yay.
So
Plus 8 though as a spread.
let's not hold on. Let's not we don't need to say yay. You don't let's take our fan hats off for a second. Because he got a lot of those. A lot of those wins didn't count because they came in the postseason against the Steelers. So let's forget about that for a second. This is huge.
Yeah.
This is huge. That's a record that has stood for a long,
it is.
long time. Think about all the coaches that have been successful in the NFL, and none of them have come close to winning this many games.
I'll care about it when Tomlin gets it.
And when Tomlin gets it, then, okay, well then you won't ever care about it, I guess.
3 more years, 4 more years.
He's
What?
got Steelers coaches just kind of ride off into the sunset. and then get replaced by another guy.
They just take all their Super Bowl rings and ride off into the sunset.
all their Super Bowl rings. Cowher got 1.
Tomlin got 2.
Tomlin has 1.
2.
He's got 1.
What are the 2?
Yeah, he's got 1. He beat the Cardinals.
Arizona and Seattle.
Seattle was Cowher. That was Cowher's.
That was Cowher's?
That was Cowher riding off into the sunset. That was his one. That was him and Bettis. Remember?
No, obviously I know
remember
that.
the bus is going home because the Super Bowl was in Michigan, and he's from Michigan. He's from Detroit. Like
I swore Tomlin had
you don't remember all that? No, Tomlin's been to 2. He lost Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Tomlin is the reason that Aaron Rodgers has a Super Bowl. Thanks, thanks, dude.
He's the reason that that Aaron Rodgers might be in the Hall of Fame someday.
Thanks, Tomlin.
Please.
That was fun. No, but okay. So there's not honestly like anybody picking the Bears in this game is crazy. And,
picking the Bears?
And then there's almost
sir.
and then there's really almost no fantasy prospects to talk about. The most important thing to talk about in this game is probably the fact that Damian Harris could play. Because it's
And the only reason that's important is because it's going to limit Stevenson.
because
Yeah.
we've been enjoying a beautiful Ramondre Stevenson season, and it could be over now. It could be over already. It was 2 weeks long, and it could be over.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It could be over.
I've got Damian Harris, so.
No, you don't. You dropped him.
No, in another league, Dynasty. In our league, he's droppable. He's very droppable in our league.
Yeah, the guy who has Ramondre picked him up.
I guess.
He's
Yeah,
in first
no, I can
place.
see it, yeah.
That was Slim. Slim picked him up. But yeah, you're going to start Ramondre, and then after that, I think the important thing to know is if you need receiver help, Devontae Parker looks awesome. He looks awesome.
Really? Sorry, real quick.
Round over.
We need a timeout on that. Like,
All right, timeout.
Parker is.
Devontae Parker looks awesome.
I know he had 1 week where he was
No,
really
I'm not
good,
talking about
but-
numbers. I'm watching the games.
Okay.
He looks awesome. He's making sideline catches. He's going up over guys. He's like, he looks big, strong, fast. He looks like DK. Like on the field compared to other guys, he looks bigger. He looks awesome.
Okay.
That's where they're going with the ball. If you look at his numbers, his snap percentage has been getting better. And when he gets targets, he produces, period. And he's their best receiver. He just is. He is their best receiver. Jacoby Myers is having an excellent season so far. But Devontae Parker, I think, is like eventually going to be the receiver you want to start for the Patriots, not Jacoby Myers.
And that's a hot take out there, guys. So, like, if you believe in Ken, and honestly, I like his reasoning there. I haven't seen very many of those games, so I can't like really jump on the bandwagon. But I like your reasoning, and I like Parker over Jacoby Myers, like kind of in general
As a player,
so,
yeah.
absolutely. So,
Yeah.
if that's what you're seeing on the field, man, that gives
He
me
looks
confidence.
good. He looks really good.
So, first off,
and Mac Jones should be back.
True.
Mac should play in this game.
can you grab me a beer? And
First off,
Important things here.
and then we'll get to a couple questions
things
before our
first.
last round here. First question coming in from the Joker off YouTube. Who should I start at running back and flex positions? Ramondre? Ramondre. Okay, thank you. Stevenson, David Montgomery, Jamal Williams, Dante Foreman, full PPR, just need 2.
so Stevenson for sure. I would probably just start Stevenson and Montgomery.
Well, you have to monitor whether Swift is out or not.
Yeah, if Swift does not play, Williams becomes the best player
Yes.
of that group. And then
Well, but even then it's Dallas, so I don't even know if that's the
They've been
best
soft
play.
against the
But
run.
you have to play
they've been
him.
softer against the run.
Right. You have to play him,
and he'll get
but-
volume for sure.
Yeah.
Like-
So watch Swift, and if Swift
Yeah.
is in, don't play him. And
Yeah.
if he's out, then play him.
Yeah, if Swift is in, then I would play Montgomery and Stevenson. And who was the fourth one? 'Cause I feel like the fourth one wasn't relevant.
Jamal Williams.
Oh yeah, Deontay Foreman.
yeah.
No, we're just watching.
Yeah, Deontay Foreman.
You roster him and you're just watching at this point.
Yeah,
Like
you wanna
I
have him on
picked him
your
up at a
roster
bunch of
just in
places,
case.
like everywhere
Yeah.
I could possibly pick him up. I picked him up on Thursday night.
I'm just saying. Sorry, just to toot my own horn. Toot, toot. Dynasty League, like Thursday night, I picked up Deontay Foreman right before CMC got traded.
Really?
Like hours before.
No way. That's
It was awesome.
yes. That feels so good.
It really
That has
does.
to feel so good. So I picked up I got Deontay Foreman in my Dynasty League. I think it was Dynasty. Yeah, and someone was Someone was like, "How am I losing all of these waiver claims? Is it based on money or something?" That was the best. Oh man.
Second question from Val's the Goat. I think this is the first question we've ever gotten from him, coming from YouTube.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Start 2, Sutton, Thornton, Bateman, MVS.
Sutton and Bateman.
Yeah. Those are rough choices right there. I will, especially this week.
Yeah, that's
Like,
not.
man.
That's a tough position to be in. Like you were feeling so much better about Cortland Sutton about 10 days ago.
Agreed. Yeah, but I think those are the picks. Like those other two are just such long shots.
Lamar Jackson really likes Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman's back. There's no Duvernay. Definitely
He's
Bateman.
gonna get targets. Like
Yes.
he's gonna get some. It's a matter of how healthy he is.
And
but-
also, Mark Andrews could be out too.
yeah.
So
with the
he could be the only guy getting targets.
so you have to put him in there. But
You have to play
man,
him.
you're nervous
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Your butt is puckered.
No, I agree. Like Cortland Sutton is your number one pick there because he's done it this year so far. Although, like with the switch at quarterback, I'm feeling real iffy about it.
No, but you said, man, rip into Sutton. It's a thing.
No, rip into Judy.
Oh.
That's why I'm feeling extra iffy about it. So,
Gotcha.
And then and then Bateman. But yeah, the other two I would not want to play at all. Although I will say this, Tyquan Thornton scored twice in the game against the Browns, and he looks good too.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, the Patriots got some players, bro. They have some talent. Like it's weird. It's so weird because we're so used to this not happening because they just whiff on playmakers over and over and over again throughout the years. They got some.
Okay.
Yeah, they look good.
All right.
They
We'll
look
see.
fun. They
We'll
look
see.
fun.
As a follow-up question, Sutton for Boyd.
No.
No.
You hang on to Sutton.
No, God, don't. What are you tanking?
No. Boyd.
No, I'm just kidding, but no, don't do that. No.
Yeah. Boyd is really really good when one of the two main
Tyler
receivers
Boyd
are out.
yes, he's that's when
he's a must start. But other than that, he's
and
very
even
much.
then, he's a must start at that point. But even then, he doesn't always produce.
Right.
Like you can guarantee Tyler Boyd is going to have 3 fantastic games a year. You just never know when they're going to be. They're completely unpredictable. It's not.
unless one of the two main receivers.
Even
are out.
then, though, that's what I'm saying. Is like the games that he has, the games where he goes off, aren't games where the other guys are missing. That's what I'm saying. Is like when you want to count on.
I have him in my dynasty, so
I
that
feel
I'm a
like
little.
I feel like when you want to count on Tyler Boyd, he lets you down. And then the times where he goes off, you didn't start him.
I don't feel like when one of those main two are out, I don't think he's ever really let me
Not
down.
not like goose.
You know what I mean?
He won't
no,
goose
no.
you.
But
he's
10
not-
points, 11
That's
points.
yes, that's fine, and that's fine.
And especially from Tyler
That's
Boyd, you're
fine.
like, cool.
That's
You know what I
fine,
mean?
but
and
it's
then
like
you
if
have the
you're- but
upside
if-
of a 25-point game.
That's fine for. That's not. I mean, I.
No, he did it. He did it several times. Probably 3 times, just like you said last
See?
year.
That's
what
not
I'm saying.
several.
Several is 3, brother.
That's a
Yes, it
few.
is.
And even then, I would
Three,
say
man, three.
three's a couple. Like
Oh, you do the German 3?
Yes.
I like it. I thought this was German 3.
This is German 3.
it's this. Are you sure? Because this is sign language.
I remember he got somebody killed in Inglourious Bastards, but that's
Yeah,
all I remember.
and this is it because they use the thumb.
Okay.
Because they use the thumb. Yep.
Yeah, I believe you.
Interesting. Not really.
No, it really is, dude. Oh, dude.
Next
Come on, you've seen
question.
Inglourious Bastards,
Yes,
right?
I have.
It's fantastic.
Who doesn't
right?
love the bear Jew?
I mean,
The bear
look,
Jew.
Oh.
Tarantino films in general are great. Although
Yeah.
the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I don't know if we talked about this on the
I haven't
podcast.
watched
watched
that one,
I haven't
honestly.
seen it yet.
Oh my god, it was a bore fest to me, and then the climax.
I've
saved
never
it.
been bored by a
Oh,
Tarantino
God.
film.
I know.
Now I really want to watch it.
Yeah, and I was
forgot
like,
about it.
I sat through that movie because it was a Tarantino film. If it wasn't a Tarantino film, I would have walked. Like I would have been like, I'm done with this.
halfway
We toss
through.
this for me, Brian. Please.
But the climax saved the movie for me. And I think I'm a lone
So he M. Night Shyamalan
opinionist.
you?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think I might be a lone opinionist on this. But anyway, next question. CMC and Lazard for Kenneth Walker and Cup in my other league.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. CMC and Lazard for Cup and Kenneth Walker. Oh yeah. Oh, you kidding me?
Dude, you were super excited about that. Honestly, I feel like that's a very even trade. That's dependent upon what your team needs.
Here's the thing. Like earlier if you listen to us from the beginning, earlier we were talking about CMC, and Brian and I both believe that 40-point games, like I believe at least one 40-point game is in the future of CMC the rest of the season. I'd still rather have Ken Walker, I think.
Than CMC?
I think it was loosely based on.
Hold on. You're going to tell me I'm going to give up CMC and Lazard, and I'm going to get back Kupp and Ken Walker? You're really, like, it's Kupp and CMC are equal to me.
Agreed.
So really you're telling me Ken Walker versus Lazard.
Okay.
And that one is so far on the Ken Walker side that it's not even funny. So, yeah, so you're going to get a slight downgrade.
And I
maybe slight downgrade because we really believe in Ken Walker. So slight downgrade at running back, maybe rest of season, because he's going to a new team the middle of the year. He's CMC. We expect him to do great things. We know that Kyle Shanahan's great. This doesn't always work out.
That's the truth.
It's a new situation. It doesn't always work out. We know that they love Ken Walker. We know they don't have any other options. We've seen him do spectacular things already with limited opportunities. I would make that gamble for sure.
And let me say, because of what's known, we don't know what CMC is going to do. I think I agree with you. I think you convinced me, I should say. I'm on the other side of that trade, but you convinced me because we just don't know exactly what CMC is going to do. I am putting on the rose-colored glasses because I expect something amazing.
But it could go wrong
CMC.
too.
But you're right; it could totally go wrong. It could not work out. So because of that, I think the sure thing is on the other side, and I'd go for Kupp and Walker.
There's more mouths to feed in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So his team is 5-1, and he has Brady, CMC,
Congrats.
Swift, D Hop, Amon-Ra, Kelsey, Damian, Pierce, Montgomery, Etney, Juju, Lazard.
That's
congratulations, sir.
Thielen. You just keep winning then, because you're 5-1 and somebody's like, here, get better. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, especially with your team setup.
Yeah.
Because all your pieces are so good, that makes it even more go for that sure thing.
Yeah.
Because man, you're going to have a good team. You're going to challenge for the championship.
Cooper Kupp,
no matter what.
Cooper Kupp.
Well done, sir.
I don't think there's a more sure thing in fantasy football right now than Cooper Kupp. I don't.
Yeah.
No, he's going to be great. He's going to be great.
Stephon Diggs is the number one wide receiver so far this season. But I week to week,
I'll take Kupp.
I'll take Kupp.
I will too.
Okay. Whew. All right.
Uh-oh. We're fading.
I've been fading all day for some reason. So coming back into it with the toughest game for us to talk about.
This is the funnest one, though. Honestly, I'm starting to feel that way because it's we're just
we know nothing.
Yes, we know nothing. We're just projecting into the way into the future, So it's fun when when we get stuff right, picking against my favorite part is picking against a team twice in 1 week and being right.
The Steelers 4 weeks ago or whatever.
And I think I've done that 4 times this year.
And of course, we're talking about the Thursday night game. Before I get into the Thursday night game, though, or before we get into it, if we have helped you guys out at all over the last week, let us know. We want to know if our advice has helped.
Yeah, we hope that it does.
Yeah. So
please,
it's not because it's not helping Brian.
Dude, my team is so good, dude.
His team is so good. His team is the best 2-4 team I've ever seen.
It's ridiculous.
He's got Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, and Ken Walker, and he's 2-4. He's got Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Ken Walker. He's got
strong receivers.
He's got Hollywood Brown, Terry McLaurin, Michael Pittman, Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson, as wide
Brandon
receivers.
Cooks, yeah.
Brandon Cooks.
Yep.
And he's 2-4.
It's ridiculous.
But do you remember what I said at on draft night?
What's that?
I said I was concerned about your team because you didn't have a positional advantage at quarterback and at tight end. And quarterback has killed you this year.
And it's killed me because my streaming has not been great.
But that's not you. That's not your fault. That's not your fault.
Usually is.
That's not your fault this year. That's not your
been great,
like
yeah.
streaming has just not been an option so far this year. I don't know if that's going to change in the second half of the year, but like
And every time you think you have an option, it doesn't work out. Yeah.
In one of my other leagues, a trade just happened, and it was one side got Travis Kelce was the best player, and the other side got Patrick Mahomes as the best player.
Okay.
And a couple of the guys were really pissed off about the deal, because they're like, obviously the guy getting Travis Kelce is winning the deal, right? Not this year.
I was gonna say I wouldn't agree with that.
Not this year.
Yeah.
Not this year. Like basically any other year in the last 10 years, and that's true. Just stream another quarterback. I got Kelce now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna score my 18 points a game at tight end while everybody else is struggling to get 10. Okay, cool. I'll be able to make up the 3 extra points my quarterback was scoring. Besides the streamer that I'm gonna pick every week. This year, it's not working. And not only is it not working for streaming, but like once you get past the top 6 quarterbacks, it's like you don't want to start any of them.
Yeah. You better be right.
Yeah, exactly. It's been real bad. It's been real bad.
Yep.
Which
is unusual.
Yeah.
Like that's not the usual fantasy trend.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like I have had a lot of success streaming quarterbacks.
You didn't have anything to say. You had nothing to say when I said that one side got Kelce and one side got Mahomes. You didn't even ask me what the rest of the trade was.
No.
You were perfectly fine with it.
It's already close.
And yes, and in 2020 in 2022, that's correct. And in the last 10 years, what? Absolutely, I'll take Kelce. The dominant tight end versus the quarterback, because the quarterback's just replaceable.
Right.
Like we all want to live in a world where we play with people who draft quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds.
Well, still do, but
that's right. But going into 2022, if you drafted Josh Allen, where could you have? Where would that?
So bad. Yeah.
Where would that have been wrong?
Yeah.
How if we did a redraft right now, if we were in
Kelce and Allen are both going
first round,
end of first.
They're going to
second.
I think Josh Allen might be top 5. You realize he's a full He is a full monster start ahead of the next quarterback in points. He's ahead of Jalen Hurts by 25 points going into week 7. That's absurd. That's absurd.
That's a big one.
He's outscoring the next closest quarterback by 5 points a game. That's crazy. And he's outscoring streaming quarterbacks by 12 to 15.
Especially Marcus Mariota.
That's like that when you have so when you have that, that's a draftable quarterback. That's a quarterback that you take in round 1.
Yeah.
So going into Thursday, let's start the timer back up. Thursday, October 27th. Ravens at the Buccaneers. The Ravens are at +3. Over under at 44. Money line at +140 for the Ravens, -165.
This is the first time that I don't want to pick the game, because it's actually going to be I think it's going to be a good game. Yeah.
A lot of information's there's a lot of information on Sunday. What happens on Sunday for this game?
I think this is a messy game to pick because the Ravens have so many things up in the air. We don't know what their injury situation is going to be. Will Duvernay
for their defense, for their running backs, for their receivers,
who's going to be back for this game? So I feel really bad picking this game. I'm just going to pick. I'm going to pick Tampa Bay.
See, and I'm going to go the opposite.
Wait, hold on. Tampa Bay's at home for the game?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll pick Tampa.
And I'm going to go the opposite there. I think the Ravens are the stronger team right now. I think Tampa is trying to get things together. I think they're really struggling. If the Ravens get 50% of their injured people back next week, they're going to be great. But I don't know if
what
they'll
worries
do that or
me
not.
about them.
That's the thing.
Is what worries me about them
injuries.
Is that not just that, but they find a way to lose games
because of their injuries. Because they're starting their second and third string.
Don't give me the crap. Don't give me that. When you have
Dude, cornerbacks matter,
no.
man. CBs matter.
They do matter, but they're not. But they're not just losing these games because their cornerbacks are getting beat.
But they keep
They've lost.
losing at the end.
I know that
Because their
But they're-
cornerbacks
but they're-
are getting beat.
but there's also an element. Okay, so you're telling me that in none of those games they had the opportunity to close the ball out with the ball in their hand, close the game out with the ball in their hand?
No, they probably did.
Yes, they did.
no,
So what I'm saying is they have 3 losses and have trailed for less than 10 minutes this season.
All right.
They find ways to lose games. That's what's happening to them.
But I'm saying if they're starting cornerbacks, if they're starting defense
They're
was in
sta-
there,
I don't think they're
would they
start-
still
dude.
be losing those games?
Yes.
My
I don't think they're that special.
I would disagree on that.
I don't think they're that special.
They are strong. They're not special. They're strong, and that matters. And they're not strong right now.
I think
in the
so.
secondary.
What I think here is,
At the end of the year, they might be, which is scary.
so we I was just talking about 10 minutes ago how I like picking these games because I like picking against a team twice in the same week.
Okay.
right? This is going to be the opposite. I think we're going to get together next week and we're going to be talking about Tom Brady having thrown 7 touchdowns in the last 2 games.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's just like for this game, I think Ravens are kind of up and down, and I think the Bucks are up and down, but it's not Tom Brady's fault. And since they're playing against Carolina the week before, and they're gonna have some momentum going into this
agree.
game, some big momentum.
I agree.
I'm going with the Bucks.
All right.
On this one.
I finally get a lone wolf.
You got 2.
That's 2. You got one.
You got 2.
the Steelers. Oh yeah, my Steelers. All right.
Yeah, the other one's just not very good.
So you say now.
So this is the week me and Ken gain a game on you. I think.
We
did
see. We'll see.
You got 2 on him last week.
Yeah, but this week we probably will gain 1.
Oh,
game
can
on
you readjust those totals?
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Totals I have are 48, 50, 55. Is that
Huh?
the totals I have
Oh,
is
you
48
have-
me.
Yeah, I have 50, and then Brian has 55. Yes,
50 and
cor-
55.
That is correct.
Yeah, that looks right. Okay, so that's it for our pick games. Now we're going to go into our fantasy, which, by the way, if
It is
California
DraftKings time.
allows us, we will be able to actually start putting
We're
some
gonna find out
money
soon. We're gonna find out soon. Yeah.
on these games, and I'm getting excited about that.
I'm so excited for prop bets. So betting on whether or not a player is going to have so many yards, a player is going to have so many catches, a player is going to have so many touchdowns, things like that. That's the thing I'm really excited for.
You know, and for me, it's just being able to have the freedom of being able to bet on games. And
Amen,
I don't really care about the other mumbo jumbo politics of it, of where the money's going and all that stuff. I just want to be able to bet on football. Damn it!
Yep.
Like,
I
you
think
know,
that's
so-
how most of us feel.
So they can figure out all that later. Give me the freedom of betting on some football a little bit more.
So vote yes on 26 and 27 in California, and hopefully one of those pass, and we will have some sports betting.
Yay, buddy. So, first off, now we're getting into the DraftKings portion of our podcast. It doesn't look like we have any questions. So, who owes everyone a shot from last week?
Hold on, it's like a wine in that thing. Hold on.
Pick a glass, any glass.
I'll get this fancy little shot cup here.
I love those things. I have one next to my sink for like when I do mouthwash after I brush my teeth. Like I have one of those shot glasses. I just love them so much.
They are pretty cool.
That's funny.
Actually, I have 2, but
All right. Well, while he's doing that, you want me to
Yeah,
start
go ahead and
off
start
the
us off.
cash lineup here?
start
You
us off.
starting with cash?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
well,
always start with
cash is the one that we care most about. That's the one that we're betting with, and then we do our tournament lineup afterwards, which is mainly like giving you an idea what we're doing. Like if we're going for long shots, we're really trying to win that tournament. You have to do something out of the ordinary. So that's what the tournament lineup is about. But with cash, you're going with the sure things. You're going with the guys that are gonna score you points. And so I am gonna start off with Patrick Mahomes. Like Mahomes is going to be amazing this week. He's going to get 3 touchdowns minimum, maybe 4. He's going to be great. I don't know where those touchdowns are going, though, so which is why that Mahomes is such a great start in cash, I think, because you're not trying to stack him with somebody and try to guess it right, which is hard to do. So I'm going to take the two chalk players at running back, Josh Jacobs and Ken Walker. I mean, at 6,500 and 5,800, those are the guys to start at running back. You have to have a reason not to, honestly. Going into wide receiver, Brandon Cooks. I feel like Las Vegas is, well, I don't feel like the NFL feels like the the defense for Las Vegas is horrible, especially in their secondary. Cooks is going to be great. Amari Cooper, I think, Cleveland versus Baltimore. I think, despite what Ken says about Cooper being on the road.
It's not me, it's history.
But I think that matchup is amazing there. I think Cooper's going to be great. And then to save some money, I went with Pierce from Indy as my third wide receiver. He's 4,600, and he's going against
Such a good deal this week.
Yeah, exactly. He's just a great deal because his opponent is the 31st ranked defense, and
Matt Ryan's just chucking the ball up,
and he's getting the ball. So yeah, he's got a guaranteed floor and could have a good ceiling if he gets some touchdowns. Now here's where the fun starts. Well, actually, let me go to flex first. Flex, I've got Saquon Barkley. That's my lock guy. Like I was choosing basically between him and Derrick Henry, and Saquon is a little bit less expensive, which just let me get a couple things happen. Let a couple things happen in the rest of the lineup, so that's why I went with him. Now it gets interesting at tight end. At the dead minimum, we are going with Greg Dulcich, the tight end from Denver.
Oh, I didn't see him there. That was who I would have guessed. I just didn't see his name.
Yeah. Dulcich is 2,500.
So I would have figured them both out then. All right. Cool. Earlier, he tested me. He was like, "I've got one tight end at 2,500 and one at 2,800." Or you did.
Yep.
Say, he gave me the exact numbers, and I just didn't see Dulcich at 2,500. But yeah, excellent play this week.
Yeah.
I'm playing against a guy in Dynasty this week. His team's name is Orange Crush.
Okay.
His avatar is a Denver Broncos symbol, the old one.
Okay. Of course.
And he's got no less than 8 Broncos on his team. Okay?
That's what I like to see. Uh-huh.
He dropped Albert Okwuegbunam this week.
Wow. All right.
Okay?
So Dulcich is the man.
And so, and for people who don't know, Dulcich was the number 2 tight end drafted this draft season. It was him, and the guy that I have on my dynasty roster is Trey McBride for the Cardinals.
Yep.
They were the 2 tight end studs in the draft season. So Dulcich made he scored like a 35-yard touchdown last week or something like that. It was a big play.
Yep.
It was a big play. He's got talent. They like him a lot. I like him too. I think it's a great start.
And for 2,500, I mean, he's going to pay off at
The
that
only thing
value,
that worries me is that Brett Rippon is starting. That's the only thing that worries me.
Me too.
However, what I was going to, and I didn't say this earlier when we were talking about it, backup quarterbacks tend to have rapport with backup players because they run together during practice.
And that's what Dulcich has been.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it is intriguing. I
Yes.
like it. At $2,500, I think that is a smash tournament play.
Tournament, yes. but this is cash.
That's why
This is cash because he saves me so much money that I can put all these other smash plays in there and get the guaranteed something off Dulcich. Yes. My last pick is the defense, the New York Jets versus Denver at 2,600.
Chalky.
Yeah. What else can you do? All right, go ahead, beat that.
Oh, I will.
I dare you.
I do usually.
Well, according to he usually does.
Well, no, hey, Ray has the
I beat you usually. I didn't say I
Ray
would
has the
beat
hold on
Ray.
this. Thank you very much. All right, go ahead.
Nostradamus over here.
Nostradamus, I like that.
All right. So this is our cash lineup, right?
All right. Prove it.
So I am going to start off with at quarterback, $5,400.
Whoa.
Matt Ryan,
Whoa.
leading the NFL in pass attempts,
In cash, right?
playing against
All right.
the worst pass defense in the NFL.
All right. All right.
Seems like an auto 25 to 30 points.
At 5,400, it's hard to argue.
Yeah.
Like,
I hope the Falcons win that game.
Yeah, so $5,400. The Titans have allowed 300 passing yards to 4 consecutive quarterbacks, including Matt Ryan, and he's got his stud back, Jonathan Taylor's back this week. So I think they're actually going to be a little even more deadly in the pass game. So I like him at $8,200. On the other side, just to ensure that Matt Ryan has plenty of passing opportunities, I've got Derrick Henry. At $6,500 to pair with him, I've got Josh Jacobs, which is just like the best running back start of the week.
For sure.
Like, I don't think you can make a cash lineup or a tournament lineup that doesn't include Josh
Matt Ryan's
Jacobs.
on the Colts now.
Like-
I crossed my wires there.
yeah, I did that. I did that earlier.
That's funny. Yeah, he did do that earlier. That's funny.
I did.
So, yeah, Josh Jacobs being at $6,500, I just don't see how he's not in every single lineup. Every lineup, right?
Tourney lineups, that's a different story, but cash, you're totally
Yeah,
right.
tournament lineup, you might gamble. You know, you might like.
think you have to gamble,
yeah, well,
but yeah.
I mean, tournament lineups, you do different things. So, in some of your lineups, you'll spend up on receiver and gamble on running back. In some lineups, you'll spend up on running back and gamble on receiver.
Yep.
You know, so like, let's not say that he goes in every lineup, but at $6,500, it's hard.
Hard to leave him out
It
of
is
the cash
hard
lineup,
not to
yes.
put him in. Yeah. At my receivers, I've got my favorite one of the weekend is Romeo Doubs.
Wow.
He's
okay.
He's $5,000. He's only $5,000, and for what you need in a cash lineup, we're talking about you want to hit 3 to 1. He for $5,000.
But that's saying he's going to hit 15 points.
He's hit that 3 times this year already. And
Okay, so 50-50.
And they're playing against the worst pass defense in football.
Okay.
Next, at $6,400, playing against another bottom 5 defense in in football is T. Higgins.
Yeah. Yeah. T. Higgins is definitely one of those chalk plays this week.
And then to pair with Matt Ryan, I've got Michael Pittman Jr. at $7,400.
Okay.
At tight end, I love Hayden Hurst this weekend.
Wow.
For $3,500 against the Falcons. The Falcons have just been giving it up to every single tight end so far. I think that Hayden Hurst is going to have a monster game. So I saved some money there for $3,500. And then at my flex, I'm going to go with Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Wow.
He just produces based on, like, when he gets targets, he produces. And I think that the Browns are going to be behind. So I think they're going to have to throw the ball. And, well, you know, I don't believe in Amari on the road.
I've heard that.
So it tickles me that you have Amari and I have Donovan Peoples-Jones in my
Yeah.
in my cash lineup. That's
Can we
great.
put that one on the board?
We already did.
No.
We just did,
no,
because if you lose it, you're going to have to buy me dinner.
Come on, let's do one more. Come on. Come
Stop
on. I want to bet again on that one.
Knock it off.
All right.
There's enough on the board. And then at defense, how could I not pick
The New York Jets.
How could I not pick the Packers?
What? The Packers?
Playing against Taylor Heineke and the inept Washington Commanders.
How much were they?
$3,400.
Okay.
That's way too much.
I spend up in cash.
Yeah.
For like on my defense, I always spend in cash tournaments. I like to spend in cash. So we've talked about this. If you want to win a tournament, you have to go boom bust.
Yep.
Right? In cash, you want to go more floor plays. Like make a couple of strong plays, but you want to have strong floor plays. And I just don't see how the Packers don't score 10 plus points this week on defense.
And my point
they don't need. They're not going to. I don't think that. I'm not saying they're going to score, but that Washington offense was bad with Carson Wentz.
But here, to me, you want to take the best cash play in the bottom 10. You know what I mean? Like, you want to save money on defense. especially in cash, because unless there's a reason not to, unless the slate makes it to where it's easy to save money and get a good defense, great. But usually you're trying to save money. You're trying to get this guy in and this guy in and this guy in. And to me, saving on defense is the best place to go, because just defense is the hardest thing to predict.
I like to save on defense and tight end usually.
Me too.
Unless every once in a while there's a really smash wide receiver play or running back play that's cheap. Last week, anybody who had gotten in and jumped on Deion Jackson, for instance,
All right, let's toot that horn one more time.
No, I don't. No, because I don't. How much money was he on DraftKings?
Oh, dirt cheap.
I don't know how much he was.
I
missed
don't even
it.
know. He was garbage. I
missed
wasn't
it.
on
That was
there.
so. I wish that I had. So when I saw Jonathan Taylor wasn't going to play last weekend, and I got all excited and I went and ran and grabbed Deion Jackson, I didn't think about DFS at all until Sunday afternoon, and I was like,
dummy.
yeah, why didn't I do that?
Duh.
Yeah, but so
obvious.
So yeah, exactly. So when there's an obvious play like that, when a guy is going to get volume and he's just like obviously super undervalued, then you can make a play like that. Yeah. But otherwise, that's where I like to save. I like to save at tight end, and I like to save on defense.
Ditto.
But in these cash games, I always feel like there's a play that I can make that's maybe not like exactly the smash play that we just described, but like playing Romeo Doubs at 5,000. Playing Romeo Doubs at 5,000 instead of playing, say, Christian Kirk or Brandon Cooks or Alan Lazard even at the $6,000 range allows me to spend up on a defense.
Right.
And that's so I feel like if you can find that value, like I like to do it in cash games.
And I totally see what you're saying, but like in the example you just gave, I would have taken Cooks there and gone with the
Jets defense.
Yes.
And yeah, see, and I just I didn't believe strongly enough in that matchup. If the Jets were at home, I would have been all over that. But they're not, and so I just don't like to. I really don't like to gamble on defenses that aren't like bona fide top 5 defenses on the road. I just don't like to do it.
But you're just not going to get those defenses cheap. Then that's the thing.
In cash, right? Yeah. And in cash, you're not going to.
Yeah.
And in tournament, but that's what I'm saying. And in tournaments, I'll gamble.
Yeah.
And so in my tournament lineup, you'll see that.
All right. Sorry.
All right.
Ray,
so
go ahead, buddy.
Let's get to these questions real quick
Oh,
before
we
I
got
get
questions.
to my lineup.
Let's do it.
Coming from YouTube, Chase, I think, is the first time he's ever asked us a question.
What's up, Chase?
What's up, dude?
Full PPR, start 2, Monstert, Kenyon,
Mostert?
Drake, Pickens.
The running backs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Pickens, and he's a Steelers fan, so he loves Pickens too. Like we're both big fans of Pickens.
But Mostert and Drake, they're both
He's just too unpredictable
they're
right now.
guaranteed.
He's
Both those two are guaranteed. Like you're going to get guaranteed points, whereas Pickens is just such a hit or miss.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
Maybe if you're like a big underdog and you're really shooting for the moon, go for Pickens there. But honestly, I go for the other two.
The Steelers are going to be down in that game. We expect.
Are not.
I think most non-Steeler fan experts
Whatever.
would agree that the Steelers are going to be down in that game. They're going to have to throw the ball. But right now, like Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool get a lot of work. He's not like you're not going to get a game out of Pickens like you did, DeAndre Hopkins on Thursday night. That's not going to happen yet. We see that in his future.
Until it does. That's the thing. There's going to be one game where he blows up.
I don't think it'll happen this year.
Are you going to bet that this is the game that he blows up?
Nope.
No. It's just too long a shot.
And honestly, dude, I don't even think I think if he even has one of those games this year, which I think is unlikely because of the pieces. There's so many pieces around him.
Disagree.
I just don't see him getting the volume. I don't see them because Deontay is the guy they're going to give the volume to. He's open but
not when Pickett is the quarterback. Like Pickett. Like,
he loves Pickens. There's the connection
Exactly.
there. I agree. I do agree with that. But the thing is,
and
but
the offense is more centered toward.
But the play still has to be drawn up
Right.
for Pickens. So, like 20 to 20, he can in between the 20s. Kenny Pickett can, run around in the pocket, and the play might not have been designed for Pickens, but he can find Pickens, right? When they get inside the 20 and there's less margin for error, those plays aren't going to be run for him this year.
Totally agree.
Those plays are going to be run for Claypool,
Yep.
for Harris, and for Deontay Johnson, and maybe even Freiermuth. I believe all four of those guys before they're run for Pickens. And I just don't, and like in the red zone, you don't have the same amount of like ability to just like find your guy.
No, I agree.
So I don't think it's this year. I don't see that happening this year. And even if he does have a big game this year, I think it ends up being more like what we saw with Garrett Wilson, where Garrett Wilson had his monster game against the Jets, and then just kind of like, yeah, he still does things. He still shows up, and he still looks good when you see him make catches, but he's not getting that number one volume. I just don't see him getting number one volume this year.
I think we just spent 5 minutes basically agreeing. So,
So next question
Well, thanks, man.
from Super CNB, who is a returning YouTuber viewer.
what's up, brother?
Damian Harris or Kenyon Drake? PPR.
Drake.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Did I say Drake? Because I meant Drake.
Yeah.
also he just traded Mike Evans and Jerry Jeudy for Derrick Henry. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations, sir.
Yeah.
Here, Ken and I are going to do a little fist bump for you. Like, congratulations, sir.
That was awesome.
Well done.
Yes. It's Derrick Henry's about to just maul people.
Yep.
Like he.
Yeah.
He look. Yeah.
His time is coming.
Yep. I'm trying. I just asked somebody, the guy who has him in Dynasty, because I feel like I have enough pieces now. Like I could, offer him. I could overpay by giving up Zeke and like a first round draft pick and get Derrick Henry, and I want to.
If he'll do it. I mean,
No. Well, the value says that, according to all the trade charts, the value says that if you give up a mid first round pick for Derrick Henry,
the trade charts are bullshit. You know that.
kind of, but
They're-
not
they're- like, there's-
kind of, but not really. Because
Like,
so here's the
they
thing.
put all
hold
this
on,
computer
hold on.
power.
Let me
Wait,
hold on. Let me,
No. Hold on. They put all this computer power behind Watson, this supercomputer, and like he puts up trades on Yahoo, and I'm just like, what the heck is this guy talking about? This is stupid. Like, there's no way I would do that.
I got to show you this trade. I got to show you this site that I'm pretty sure. So the guy that started our Dynasty League, him and I were negotiating a trade, and I asked him if there was a site that he uses for trade rankings and stuff like
Right.
that. Just like, and so he gave it to me. Since he gave that to me, I've been making trades like crazy. So I'm pretty sure that he's got everybody in the league
on that
site. I got to show it to you because it's hilarious.
Oh
like,
my goodness.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into the weeds on. Like, we'll talk about it on the way back.
Like those people making the website should be listening to us. Is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
but thank God that they exist because it's helping my dynasty league. Yeah, where were we?
I'm up. So
there you go.
back to DraftKings.
That's what we're doing.
I don't see any other questions. Okay.
We were congratulating somebody over getting Derrick Henry.
Yes.
That was the last thing
Yeah.
that we did. And you should
Congrats.
have a drink, dude. Your chances at winning
Well
a
done.
fantasy championship just increased dramatically.
Yeah, and you guys, if we're all, of course, I'm going to say it again. If our information is helping you guys out previous week, please let us know how we did to help you guys out.
Yeah, you can follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. Like, you can follow us personally. I'm Ken Against the Clock on Instagram. Mr. Goodbat on Twitter. You can listen to us on Spotify. You can watch us on YouTube, Twitch,
iTunes.
and iTunes. Yeah.
So, my DraftKings lineup. Here we go.
This is your cash
Quarterback.
lineup, yeah?
It's the cash lineup.
That's where
Here
we
go.
were.
Cash lineup. Tom Brady, for my quarterback at $6,300. I felt like that was really, really good because I feel like he's going to be coming into this game very pissed.
Oh yeah.
As my first running back, Dylan from Green Bay, Elliott from Dallas, Evans again with my wide receivers because again I think Brady's coming to this game pissed off. Higgins from Cincinnati, Pierce from Indianapolis, and Kittle from San Francisco. I think they're going to be playing behind a lot, and he's probably one of their most reliable players. Because Godwin was only 6,300 for Tampa Bay, and I feel like Brady's going to come in pissed. I picked him as my flex, and the Jets at the defense because I don't expect to see very much from Denver. So, yeah, so I went that route with my cash. What do you think, Ken?
I liked it.
Okay, so let's move on. I'll go ahead and snake this and move on to the tournament pick. Okay, so in talking with these two gentlemen, if you guys can call them gentlemen.
I wouldn't call myself that.
They say pick that game you think there's just going to be a lot of points thrown out there, right? And for some reason, San Francisco is just a big pain in my ass because I'm a Rams fan. So whenever I need them to lose, they seem to not lose. And they're going up against Kansas City, so I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Did I lone wolf that one? I think I did.
You did lone wolf that one. I think you picked the Niners.
And along the lines of what you're talking about right now, that's why I picked them. Because this just feels like one of those games that they win.
Yes. And if you're going to win against Patrick Mahomes, you're going to put a lot of points up, right?
Yeah.
So I went.
They're going to have to. Yeah.
So I went with because as soon as you start scoring on him, he just turns the game around and just starts like throwing points out there.
Yeah.
A few years ago it was like Monday Night Football game. It was like over 100 points between the Rams and the.
That was one of my favorite games. 54-51, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Is that the final score, the overtime game?
Jeez.
That was me and I was still with my ex-wife at that time, and the guy that I worked for. We had Friendsgiving that night, that was such a fun night. That was because it was just like we had so much food because we were doing Friendsgiving, and and that football game that it was just I'll never forget that game. That game was so good, so good.
And so when you think about that game, the Rams won because the clock ran out, right?
Yeah,
like basically
like that was the game you didn't want to see end. It was so much fun.
They were going to just keep throwing punches at each other.
Yes.
So I picked.
And you know what was great about that game? Was there was good defense in that game too. In a 54-51 game, there was good defense because some of the scores were defensive.
Yeah.
Both teams scored on defense in that game.
Yep.
It was a good game. It was a great game. We're talking about that
Buffalo, Kansas City.
No, we're talking about the Chiefs-Rams game from 2018. Remember that one?
Wow. No.
2018. 54-51.
Oh no.
You don't remember that?
It was like in Mexico City or something
No.
like that.
No.
Or Mexico City got canceled. Mexico City got canceled, and they had to move it to the Rams home game. I think that's what happened. Anyway, so because of that, I'm gonna go heavy on San Francisco and pick up Garoppolo
Because of a 2018 game. No, I'm just kidding. We're kidding.
because San Francisco is a pain in my ass.
Yeah. He missed 5 minutes, so I took a chance to make a joke there.
And then Ezekiel Elliott, I'm gonna pick him as my running back. Pollard
You're
also.
run Zeke twice. Oh, Zeke and Pollard. That's interesting.
Yep. And then going back to San Francisco, Ayuk as my wide receiver. Again, I feel like Tom Brady is going to be pissed off, so I'm picking up Godwin and Deebo Samuel again with San Francisco, and Kittle again with San Francisco.
Jesus.
And yes, yeah, I'm trying to win this tournament. I think this game is going to be a high scoring game.
I agree that it is. I agree.
And then Kittle. Did I say Kittle?
Yes.
So then I'm moving on to Dobbs with Green Bay against Washington. And then again with Jets for my defense on this game. I don't think Broncos are going to really do anything this week.
I don't think the Broncos are going to do anything the rest of the year.
So that is my tournament lineup.
see.
Go ahead, Brian. What's going on with you?
All right.
No,
my turn?
hold on. We snaked. It's my turn.
Okay. That makes more
Okay.
sense.
Yeah, we're
Go
going back
for
the
it.
other way.
Go for
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
All right. Save the best for last.
There you go.
So you want me to go last?
No.
All right.
That's not what
So
I said.
that's what I heard. Anyway, so for tournament lineup, I am also going to go Tom Brady. I'm going to stack him with Mike Evans.
For tournament, I went Garoppolo.
At 6,900. Sorry. And then, so I'm going to stack Brady with Mike Evans at wide receiver. And also, I'm going to stack him with Cade Otton.
Cotton.
Let's start stacking with Cotton. They like him a lot. And he hasn't produced monster points yet.
But he's a rookie and he's getting the targets.
The important thing to me, and so if you're somebody who's playing fantasy football on Yahoo, or you're playing on ESPN, or even I don't play on CBS, so I don't want to speak for CBS. But if you're playing on ESPN or you're playing on Yahoo, you don't get access to all the numbers that you need. And I think the most important one is snap percentage, and he's up to 90% in snaps. That's the important thing to me. So I think he's going to get Tom Brady's looking for him. He's getting looks. He had a shot in the end zone. There was a great play by, I'm not sure who the defender was, the Pittsburgh defender, but it was a good throw, and it looked like it was going to be a touchdown. Like he was going to score last weekend. So Brady looks for him in the end zone. I like him.
And Brate is out for a while.
Cameron Brate is going to be out for a while, and Cameron Brate has never been Cameron Brate has been with Tampa Bay for
he's there. He's a guy.
He's like their third longest tenured player.
Right.
He's been there for like 8 years now.
He's a solid blocker. He can catch
He's
the
a
ball.
good player.
He's okay.
He's a solid football player. I like Cameron Brate a lot. He's not a weapon.
Nope.
He's not
special.
When he first came into the league, he was a weapon. He was kind of a weapon because that was where that was the only place he got work was in the red zone, and he'd score a lot. If you remember,
right?
Because for a while they had OJ Howard, but Brate would score all the touchdowns.
Yep. I do know.
Yes,
I took OJ in a couple of those leagues.
Anyway, he's out. Cade Otton looks really good. $2,700, super solid start for tournament. At running back, $8,300, we've got Austin Eckler. Seattle has just been not good on defense, just not good at all.
Except last week,
they weren't good on defense. The Cardinals are just bad.
And I think you're probably right there too. But I'm just saying, the Cardinals
got DeAndre Hopkins back this week, and it showed on Thursday night because they threw him. I think he had 14 targets or something like that. It was ridiculous, you could tell they had a number one receiver. They had a weapon. And I'm Hollywood Brown now.
Exactly. I'm so sad Hollywood Brown is out.
Yeah. It's a bummer.
For like 8 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever.
It's a bummer for all their offensive weapons.
Oh my God! This offense was about to take off.
Agreed. And it couldn't be more
I
obvious after what Hopkins did on Thursday, because that was the question. Was we wondered if Hopkins was going to come back and be able to be DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
He played almost every snap. He caught 10 balls and scored 20 PPR fantasy points without scoring a touchdown. So, if they'd had Hollywood Brown too, you can only kind of imagine
exactly
what they might be able to do.
Oh my God. That
being said, last week they didn't have him, and they were still that same offense, and they just weren't good. Like Hollywood Brown was putting up numbers, but they just weren't threatening. They weren't
need two receivers.
I don't think that the Saints defense is we'd have to go through through the games and see who Arizona's played so far. But I think the Saints defense is on the higher end of the defenses they played so far, and they were able to put points on the Saints because Hopkins was back. They have struggled to get first downs and to score points without Hopkins.
No, Hopkins makes a huge difference here. There's no doubt.
So, anyway, we were talking about the Seattle defense. I got kind of sidetracked. Yeah, that's how that all happened. The Seattle defense. Anyway, Austin Eckler, $8,300. I got Tony Pollard at $5,700. He's he gets enough touches, and the Lions are just bad enough on defense that I feel like this is one of those games where he'll have a really big play. So for $5,700, he really only has to score in order for you to get your money back in a tournament. Mike Evans at $6,900 to stack with Tom Brady. I already mentioned that. Also at wide receiver, $6,600 got DK Metcalf.
Yep.
We were talking about this earlier. Tyler Lockett is kind of hurt right now, so they're going to have to lean on DK a little more.
For sure.
And now that teams are going to actually have to worry about their running attack with Ken Walker, maybe DK gets a little more space out front. My next start is the one I'm the most scared / excited for, and that's DJ Moore at $4,900.
I can see that.
They shipped out everybody else that they give the ball to. Robbie Anderson's gone. Christian McCaffrey's gone. Who are you going to give the ball to?
Moore is going to get traded tomorrow morning.
Yeah, exactly. But he's the only man left standing, and he was already starting to get an uptick in targets. So I can't imagine he gets less than 10 targets, and I think that there's just better days ahead for DJ Moore. I do.
Right on.
I believe that he's just too good. At my tight end, I already mentioned I got K. Dotton at $2,700.
Cotton.
In my flex, I've got the guy that you just have to start every week, and that's Josh Reynolds at $4,700. At $4,700, he has made you he's been a worthy tournament start 4 times.
Yeah, like the last 3 out of 4 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
been good.
He's just been good. And then I had money left over because I liked all my starts, so I actually spent up on my tournament defense this week.
Wow.
And I'm gonna start Tampa Bay against Carolina.
You went the opposite of me, but dude, I love it. I like your defense better than mine. I do.
All right, and finish us off, Brian,
All right.
with the best lineup of the day.
No. I am glad I'm going last because this is the boom or bust lineup.
Oh, sweet. Here we go.
This sucker is either going to win or forget about it. But listen to this. All right. We are starting with Davis Mills
Oh, God.
at quarterback.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Going against the worst passing defense in the NFL, Las Vegas.
Yep.
So, that is a thing. Now, I admit, Davis Mills is not going to go off for 35-plus points. That's not going to happen.
But what did he cost you?
He cost me the dead minimum,
$5,000.
$5,000.
Yeah. That's why you
So,
play him.
if he scores
25 points
15
is the-
points, he did fine. He did great. If he scores 20
plus.
points,
20 plus is where
you're
you want.
awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
If he scores 25, you're like, woohoo! I scored the
And
best
it's
player
really
of the
not
week.
even that hard to score 25 in DraftKings
Exactly.
because of the bonuses and stuff like
And
that.
against Las Vegas, which is the worst defense in the NFL
don't hate it.
against the pass.
Don't hate it.
Like I say, but you're starting Davis Mills.
Are you
So
starting Nico
I'm-
Collins though? Because
No.
I would love it more if you were starting
Nope.
Nico Collins.
No, it's all about Brandon Cooks.
I
this
know,
week.
but
I
Nico,
love Brandon
But
Cooks
don't you
this week.
feel don't you feel like this is like one of those situations where Nico Collins could just score 2 touchdowns?
I feel like it could be, yes. Like he's one of my
But-
if I'm in the millionaire
So tell me, when you're putting this lineup together and you settled on Davis Mills as your quarterback, you had to think about it and be like, this is I'm gonna feel so bad if Nico Collins scores twice on Sunday.
honestly, I put Brandon Cooks in and Jacobs on the other side and went, I'm done. like that's what I wanted from this game.
That's a good.
You know what I
that's,
mean?
that's good.
So I went Mills and Cooks on one side, Jacobs on the other,
And Adams, right?
No.
okay.
No. Mills and Cooks with Jacobs on the other side. I think that's going to be plenty points. And then there's one other game that I stacked here, and that is
Double stacks are good in tournament, by the way.
the Kansas City game. So once again, I'm going Kansas City.
So you pick Kelsey.
So I took Kelsey as my flex.
Ooh, okay.
my
So
flex.
so this is where you got Moreau.
I've got Moreau as my tight end.
So that's just another stack. That's
Yes.
that completes your stack against the Texans.
And no, I've got Debo.
No, but I mean
Against
the
Texans. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a double
So,
stack.
But on this other game, I'm going.
And then you got Debo versus Kelsey.
Debo. Yeah, Debo
I like
versus
this.
Kelsey.
I like this. This is saucy.
Like it's a nice if it hits.
Yeah.
This could do
No, I like
really,
it. No,
really well.
This is
a
really
top
good.
10. Yeah.
Yes.
But if it misses, it
This is a banger. This is one you throw in the trash or you remember it forever.
exactly. So wide receiver, I'm going Cooks, of course. I just said that. Cooper, like
No, Cooper.
Amari Cooper.
Cooper Cup's on bye.
Yeah,
He might still
Cooper
score
is
10
just-
points. That's been my favorite joke this week of the talking heads is I'm still going to start Josh Allen because he's probably still good for 15 points on bye.
At least better than like 15 other quarterbacks. You're right. But Cooper, Deebo Samuel, and Cooks are my receivers. I got Moreau as tight end. Kelsey is my flex.
And the defense is
The lowest defense I could because that's the only defense I could fit in. I have Seattle
oh no
versus the Chargers.
that feels
Which
bad.
it does feel bad, but I have no Chargers in this lineup. So
Yeah.
if that actually pulls through, and Seahawks
And the
do
Chargers,
well,
the Chargers have not been great.
Exactly.
Like, since the
so
since, like,
if something weird goes,
since
something weird
Justin
happens,
Herbert got hurt, they have not been the same.
yeah. So anyway, this is my like shoot for the moon lineup. Like this thing is either gonna win,
I love
hit
it.
top
No,
10,
I love it.
or it's
Yeah.
gonna lose.
Yeah.
But I really like
Yeah.
it. So
That's a really good lineup.
thank you, brother. Thank you, man.
Yeah, Synergy, I love it. It's great. Synergy,
Appreciate
so
it.
much fun.
So with that, we have no further questions. So Ken, do you want to slide us out of this with our plugs?
All right, everybody. I think we've done this a couple of times, but you can find us on Twitch. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, and you can find us on iTunes. Or you can find me at Ken Against the Clock on Instagram or Mr. Goodbet on Twitter. You can find Ray at Clouded Jester everywhere. And don't even look for Brian because
Nope.
like he still uses like. Did you bring your chisel?
I've got it in my wallet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
A wallet? You got a wallet? It's not
For sure.
It's not a it's not a knapsack?
I have a checkbook too.
Ooh. I've heard of these. All right.
But if you have any
Hey.
good questions, like send it to these guys. These guys will send it to
yeah,
me.
we
and
all
I
talk.
will
we,
definitely
yeah, we
like,
talk to each
put
other
my
all
2
week
cents
long.
in, so
yeah, we're talking about stuff all week long. But yeah, other than that, bye weeks are happening. Don't panic. Make solid decisions, and we hope you all crush it.
absolutely.
7:00 hour on Friday next week, you guys.
We'll see you next week,
see ya.
guys. Good
All right.
luck.
Love your questions, guys. Keep them coming.
Love you guys.
See ya.
Later.
Dude, that was great. Like I can't